Chapter 42-64. One of the divine masters attacked and a huge palm grabbed at Lu Ming. The palm covered a radius of 1,000,000 miles, covering the sky and the sun. It contained terrifying power. Even if Lu Ming broke through to the Arch realm, he would not be able to escape, let alone Lu Ming, who was only at the Divine Emperor realm. However, Lu Ming did not intend to use his cultivation to resist. He took out the purple copper coffin. Now, he could only rely on the purple copper coffin. After taking out the purple copper coffin, Lu Ming pushed the coffin lid without hesitation. Kacha! The coffin lid was pushed open and there was a gap. A terrifying aura was emitted from the gap. Kacha! Lu Ming continued to push with all his might. The gap in the coffin lid widened and the horrifying aura became even more terrifying. Even the divine masters felt their hair stand on end and they felt a chill in their hearts. What is this? One of the divine masters asked in a grave voice. Who cares what it is? He is only at the divine emperor realm. What could he have? Suppress him. The divine master who had attacked earlier shouted and continued to attack. The huge palm continued to grab at Lu Ming. Roar! At this time, an earth-shattering roar came from the purple copper coffin. It was filled with an ancient aura and was extremely violent. Then, a palm stretched out from the purple copper coffin. It was a palm covered with scales. It grabbed one side of the purple copper coffin and pushed with all its might. The gap became bigger. Roar! The violent roar was heard again. The palm covered with scales stretched out and quickly became bigger. It grabbed at the divine master's palm. With a loud bang, the palm formed by the divine master shattered. The palm covered with scales did not stop and continued to grab at the divine master. This aura, it is the primordial divine spirit. The divine master exclaimed. He quickly took out a combat sword and gathered all his strength into it. He slashed out with all his might. The other two divine masters also attacked with all their might. 3 terrifying attacks slashed at the palm covered with scales and collided violently with the palm. Boom! Boom! With 3 consecutive explosions, the scale-covered palm was blocked. It quickly shrank and retreated. However, the attacks of the 3 divine masters were all destroyed, and their bodies were forced to retreat. In an instant, they had retreated hundreds of millions of miles. Their faces were pale, and blood spurted from their mouths. They had all suffered heavy injuries. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. As for the 9-peak emperor god divine dragons, they were dumbfounded. What was the purple copper coffin that Lu Ming took out? A palm could actually reach out from inside, and it was extremely powerful. It could severely injure 3 divine master realm experts with a single move. Just then, the strong cultivator from the heavenly palace had shouted that it was a primitive godly spirit. Could it be that there was a primitive godly spirit sleeping in the copper coffin? Roar! At that moment, another roar came from within the purple copper coffin. This time, 2 arms stretched out from within the purple copper coffin. One arm grabbed the lid of the coffin, while the other grabbed the body of the coffin. With a push, the distance between the lid and the body of the coffin increased. Then, a figure stepped out of the purple copper coffin. This is... Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This was the first time he had seen a living being step out of a purple copper coffin. In the past, it had only stretched out one arm. This living being was covered in scales and had a burly body. As soon as it stepped out of the purple copper coffin, it rapidly grew in size. In the end, it turned into an incomparably huge figure that stood between the heavens and the earth. It was even bigger than the stars. A primitive godly spirit. The creature that had walked out of the purple copper coffin was clearly a primitive godly spirit. This primitive godly spirit's aura was too strong. It was as vast as an abyss and unfathomable. Just its aura alone was enough to make the void tremble. Its 2 eyes scanned the 3 divine masters from the heavenly palace. The 3 heavenly palace divine masters trembled. This is, a Master God level primitive godly spirit? It can't be wrong. It really is a Master God level primitive godly spirit. Oh no, run! The three divine masters from the heavenly palace screamed in horror and frantically retreated. Judging by its aura, it was clearly a Master God level primitive godly spirit. This level of being was extremely terrifying. It was the true pinnacle of the primitive universe. It was at the same level as the celestial masters from the heavenly palace. This kind of being was not something they could deal with. If it used its full strength, it could kill them with a slap. In the face of such a being, they could only run. However, the primitive godly spirit that had walked out of the purple copper coffin had already made his move. He took a step forward and his huge body quickly approached the three divine masters from the heavenly palace. He slapped down. Rumble. A terrifying force surged toward the three divine masters from the heavenly palace. There was no other technique. There was only an extremely powerful and violent force. Extreme force. In the face of this force, the three divine masters from the heavenly palace had nowhere to run. No, help. Celestial Master, help. Celestial Master, save us. The three divine masters from the heavenly palace cried for help in horror. However, at this moment, the third demon sword had used its full strength to block the celestial master. Even if he wanted to save them, it was too late. Bang! 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 No matter how the three divine masters of the heavenly palace tried to resist, it was to no avail. When this force pressed down on them, their bodies exploded and their souls were annihilated. The three powerful divine masters were killed in an instant. Damn it! The celestial master roared. Kill! After killing the three divine masters, the primitive godly spirit in the purple copper coffin roared angrily. He glanced at the heavenly palace's celestial master with a strong murderous intent. Then, the primitive godly spirit charged toward the celestial master. His huge fist was like a star as it blasted toward the heavenly palace's celestial master. The powerful force made the celestial master's face turn serious. He thrust out his long spear, and a heavenly extermination force pierced toward the primitive godly spirit. The two of them collided. Kill! 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 The primitive godly spirit in the purple copper coffin kept shouting. His murderous intent surged as he stepped forward and attacked the celestial master. His two fists punched out consecutively. At this moment, Lu Ming saw a strange scene. There was a silk thread at the back of the primitive godly spirit's head. The other end of the silk thread was connected to the purple copper coffin. This made Lu Ming very surprised. Why was the primitive godly spirit connected to a silk thread? It looked strange, as if it was being controlled by someone. At this moment, the primitive godly spirit was fighting with the celestial master. The third demon sword quickly retreated to Lu Ming's side. It did not join forces with the primitive godly spirit to fight the celestial master. The heavenly palace's celestial master was not easy to kill. Moreover, it was not the time to kill him. The first thing they needed to do was to leave this place. If they were delayed because of the battle with the celestial master, more experts from the heavenly palace would come, and it would be more troublesome. Chapter 42-65. Buzz. Dazzling sword light burst out from the third demon sword's hand as it continued to slash at the void, opening up the passage again. The battle between the primitive divine spirit and the celestial master of the heavenly palace was extremely intense. There was no doubt that this primitive divine spirit was at the level of a master god, which was at the same level as the celestial master of the heavenly palace. The two sides were locked in a fierce battle. Even if the other side wanted to stop the third demon sword, it could not do so. In this way, the third demon sword could attack with all its might, concentrating on breaking the void. Streaks of terrifying sword light slashed out continuously, causing the void to ripple like water. Soon, a new crack was slashed out. Whoosh! Whoosh! The crack was expanding. A few minutes later, the crack had become extremely large. Fortunately, no other experts from the Heavenly Palace came during this process. Break for me. The third demon sword roared as it slashed out a shocking sword light. The sword light slashed at the crack. The crack was quickly split open and penetrated. Wisps of starlight filled the air. A familiar aura also came through. It was the aura of the universe. It was broken. The third demon sword finally tore the void at this weak point of the space and opened up a passage. Outside was the primitive universe. Let's go. The third demon sword waved its hand and rushed toward the crack with Lu Ming and the 9 deities. The next moment, they appeared in the universe. That's right. Lu Ming took a deep breath. He had finally returned to the primitive universe. Due to Lu Ming's movement, he dragged the purple copper coffin. At the back of the primordial god's head, there was a silk thread that was connected to the purple copper coffin. At this moment it was pulling the primordial god. The primordial god could not help but retreat continuously, being pulled in the direction of Lu Ming and the rest. Roar. The primitive divine spirit let out an unwilling roar. Its body rapidly shrank and finally turned into a rainbow light, rushing into the purple copper coffin and disappearing. With a clang, the lid of the purple copper coffin was closed again. The terrifying aura also disappeared without a trace. Don't even think about leaving. The celestial venerables from the heavenly palace shouted and rushed over. They wanted to rush through the spatial rift and continue to attack Lu Ming and the others. However, how could the third demon's sword allow him to succeed? Whoosh! The third demon's sword slashed out a shocking sword light. It passed through the crack and slashed towards the Empyrean. The Empyrean had no choice but to stop and block. As for the crack, it was rapidly recovering. The space here was extremely stable and difficult to break. Once it was broken, the recovery speed was astonishing. It was far from comparable to the ordinary space of the primitive universe. The third demon's sword continued to attack, blocking the heavenly palace on the other side. The crack was quickly mending and shrinking. In less than half a minute, the crack had completely disappeared. Damn it, the celestial lord in the heavenly palace roared. Even though he had lived for countless years, he was still incomparably irritable. This time, not only had the third demon's sword escaped, but the forbidden body had also escaped. Both of these were very important. The third demon's sword was very powerful. At its peak, it could kill existences of the same level. The forbidden body was even more important. Once it grew up, it would be a great enemy of the heavenly palace. Another reason was that it was even more disadvantageous for the heavenly palace. However, both of them had managed to escape right under his nose. Also, what exactly is that copper coffin? It is definitely not as simple as a primitive divine spirit. There is a familiar aura in it. The celestial lord in the heavenly palace fell into deep thought. His face became more and more solemn. He did not continue to pursue. Instead, he left in a flash and went to discuss with the other experts in the heavenly palace. On the other side, the third demon's sword did not stop. It took Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons and flew quickly in a direction. Everyone from the Sky Heart clan, I am sorry this time. However, I swear that one day, I will open the heavenly palace's celestial prison and let you out. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the celestial prison and swore in his heart. Due to the special situation this time, they could only leave first. However, he would remember the kindness of the Sky Heart clan. In the future, he would try his best to find a way to save the people of the Sky Heart clan. Senior, where are we going next? After adjusting his mood, Lu Ming asked the third demon sword. Don't call me senior. Since you're a junior sister's husband, we are of the same generation. You can call me third senior brother. The third demon sword path. Third senior brother. Lu Ming added. Now, I will take you to the cosmic ruins. Other than there, no other place is safe. The third demon sword path. Cosmic ruins? What is that place? Lu Ming was puzzled. This was not the first time he had heard of this name. Previously, Fei Huang and Ao Qian took the primordial divine lake and the dragon clan's mother planet to the cosmic ruins. Therefore, he was very curious about the cosmic ruins. You should know from the name that it is a ruin. However, it is not a ruin left behind by this era. It is a ruin left behind by the previous era, the third demon sword said. Previous era? What do you mean? The more Lu Ming listened, the more puzzled he became. The word era involved a lot of things. Lu Ming couldn't understand it. Everything in this world will change and have a lifespan. No matter how strong one's cultivation base is, there will be a day when they will fall. Even the primitive universe will wither and end one day. The primitive universe we are in now has withered and ended once. It experienced destruction and was born again. This is called an era. The era before the destruction is called the previous era. The current primitive universe is the new era. The cosmic ruins are the ruins left behind by the previous era. The third demon sword explained. What? Lu Ming gawked and tongue-tied. The time and era involved in this matter were simply too long ago. The primitive universe had two eras. One was the incipient God era and the other was the heavenly palace era. The incipient God era was formed after the universe was created. Apparently, the previous era was much older and more ancient than the incipient God era. According to the information we have, the area of the universe in the previous era was much bigger than the current primitive universe. However, no one knows why, but at the end of the previous era, it experienced a world-destroying war. That world was blown up, heading toward the end of the world. All the creatures were killed and disappeared. Then, after a new evolution, it evolved into the current untainted universe. However, only a part of it has evolved into the current untainted universe. A larger part of it is still in ruins. There, you can still feel the traces left by the destructive war of the last era. The third demon sword explained. Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons were bewildered. It was the first time they had heard about this. It seemed like this world had many secrets that they didn't know. Chapter 42-66. The third demon sword's speed was too fast. In just a short while, he had already led Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons across an unknown number of galaxies. They were already far away from the heavenly palace's prison. At this time, even if the other party wanted to pursue them, they would not be able to find them. At this time, the third demon sword stopped with Lu Ming. Look! After stopping, the third demon sword waved his hand and a three-dimensional picture appeared in the void. In a corner of this picture, there were specks of starlight that looked very dazzling. Apart from this corner, the other areas were all gray and hazy. It could be seen that the places with starlight only occupied about 1% of the volume. The gray areas occupied 99% of the volume. This is the map of the current primitive universe and the universe ruins. The places with starlight are the current primitive universe, and the gray areas are the universe ruins. The third demon sword said. Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons were dumbfounded. The universe ruins are so big? Lu Ming asked tongue-tied. Yes, in fact, the universe ruins and the current primitive universe are the total area of the entire universe. The current primitive universe only occupies 1% of the area. The other 99% are all universe ruins. That is to say, the universe of the last era was truly vast and boundless. It was 100 times larger than the current untainted universe. According to the information we have now, the universe of the last era did not use planets as a unit of measurement like the present one. At that time, there was only one continent in the entire universe, and it was called the Great Desolation Continent. It was a huge and boundless continent, and there were countless creatures living on it. Later on, there was a world-shaking war, and the vast and boundless continent was destroyed, turning into countless small continents that drifted to various places in the universe. Some of the continents evolved into different planets and gave birth to a new era, which is the current primitive universe. But most of the territories did not evolve. They still maintained the appearance of the last era, which is the current universe ruins. The third demon's sword continued to explain. Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons were completely dumbfounded. The amount of information was so huge that it subverted their worldview. They needed time to digest it slowly. In the universe of the previous epoch, there was only one continent called the prehistoric continent. Then, the prehistoric continent was blown apart and turned into fragments. A small portion of the fragments evolved into planets, which were the current prehistoric universe. The countless planets in the primitive universe were actually evolved from some of the fragments of the primitive continent. And it only occupied 1% of the total area. How big was the primitive continent of the last era? It was beyond the limit of their imagination. After a long while, Lu Ming and the other divine dragons reacted. According to the exploration of the predecessors, the last era was the real golden age of cultivation. There were countless experts like the sand of the Ganges. Naturally, there were also countless treasures left behind, which attracted countless top experts to explore. Of course, the universe ruins are also very dangerous. I won't tell you the details. You can understand it in detail when you arrive at the universe ruins. Let's continue our journey. After saying that, the third demon's sword waved his hand again. A wave of energy swept up Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons and took them to continue flying towards the universe ruins. By the way, Lu Ming, the copper coffin you took out before seemed to be very extraordinary. I couldn't see through it. How did you get it? The third demon's sword asked as they flew. He was very curious about the copper coffin. I got it in an ancient place. I don't know its origin. I guess it's the coffin of a primitive divine spirit, the one who attacked us before, Lu Ming said. No. The third demon's sword shook his head and said, I don't think it's that simple. You should have noticed that there was a thread behind the primitive divine spirit. It seemed to be controlled. It's very strange. The third demon's sword frowned and fell into deep thought. After a while, he said, in short, I feel that this copper coffin is very extraordinary. I can't see through it. You have to keep it well. It may be of great use in the future. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. Of course, he would keep the purple copper coffin. Ever since he obtained the purple copper coffin, it had saved his life many times. Of course, he would keep it well. Lu Ming, tell me about you and junior sister. Where did she reincarnate to? How did you meet? Junior sister used to be very arrogant. How did she fall in love with you? If you don't want others to hear, you can send me a message. The third demon's sword changed the topic from the copper coffin to Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing. The word gossip was written in his eyes. Lu Ming was speechless. In the end, Lu Ming told the story of him and Xian Yanqing. The third demon's sword was filled with emotion. He said that Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were young, but they had experienced a lot. According to what you said, I guess junior sister should be cultivating in the ruins of the universe. There are some unique cultivation conditions in the ruins of the universe, and her progress will be very fast. The third demon's sword path. So, we can go to the ruins of the universe and see Shaoqing? Lu Ming was overjoyed. He didn't expect that the information about Xian Yanqing that he couldn't find would come from the mouth of the third demon's sword. I'm not sure. I can only say that it's very likely. Anyway, we'll know when we get there. The third demon's sword path. The third demon's sword's speed was too fast. As time passed, the third demon's sword seemed to be slowly recovering, becoming stronger and faster. 2 days later, they had crossed an unknown number of galaxies and star fields. Gradually, the starry sky became desolate. Previously, they could see a planet with a casual flight. Later, they often flew a long distance and couldn't see a planet. Later, it was simply pitch black. There was nothing. There were no life planets, resource planets, or even stars. The void fell into darkness. The third demon's sword told them that they had reached the edge of the current primitive universe. After a while, they would reach the ruins of the universe. Sure enough, not long after, the void lit up again. Then, Lu Ming and the 9 divine dragons opened their eyes. They saw several huge continents floating in the void. These continents were very vast, no smaller than a life planet. Moreover, the continents themselves were emitting traces of light. Chapter 42-67. The light they saw was emitted by these continents. They flew closer and saw that the continents were barren. There seemed to be no living creatures. Apart from a few special life forms, there are almost no other life forms in the entire universe ruins. Moreover, there are no planets in the universe ruins. There are only fragments of continents. These few fragments are still considered small. Some of them are boundless, hundreds or even thousands of times larger than this. Let's continue moving forward. Our people are still deeper in the third demon sword path. Third senior brother, who do you mean by our people? Lu Ming asked. The 9 divine dragons were also curious. However, the 9 divine dragons were only at the celestial the arch realm. In front of the third demon sword, they were juniors among juniors. Although they had doubts in their hearts, they did not dare to ask. Now that Lu Ming asked them, they immediately pricked up their ears to listen. Now, the Heavenly Palace has occupied the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace is the ruler of the primitive universe. Our people naturally refers to those who oppose the Heavenly Palace and fight against the Heavenly Palace. We call ourselves the Heaven Destroyer. Back then, we were defeated. We were no match for the Heavenly Palace, so we retreated to this place and used its geographical location as a defense. The third demon sword path. They did not stop. They chatted as they flew. They could see continents passing by them one after another. Lu Ming also found that the void here was filled with a special energy. This energy gave off a very ancient feeling. It was different from divine qi, but it could also be absorbed and refined. However, it was not as easy to refine as divine qi. It would take more time. In the blink of an eye, another few hours passed. We're almost there. The third demon sword's eyes lit up. He was obviously very excited. He had been suppressed by the Heavenly Palace for a long time, at least dozens of stellar years. Now that he was finally back, it would be strange if he was not excited. Lu Ming also looked ahead. There were many continents floating in the void in front of them. At a glance, there were no less than 100 continents. The area of each continent was not smaller than a planet in the primitive universe. Some of them were even larger. These continents were not arranged randomly. They seemed to be arranged according to a certain rule. Moreover, there was an incomparably huge ancient tree on each continent. These ancient trees were so huge that they extended into the void like the world tree. They could be seen even from afar. There was an ancient tree on each continent. These ancient trees were emitting green light and resonating with each other to form a huge array. Is Xiao Qing here? Lu Ming was also looking forward to it. Ever since Xian Yanqing left, they hadn't seen each other for many years. He had been working on his cultivation and he had been wanting to see Xian Yanqing. Were they finally going to see each other? No, our people are not in this place, but in several places. This way, we can take care of each other and avoid the situation of being wiped out by the Heavenly Palace. The Tang family's forces are still deeper in the universe ruins. Third demon sword explained. Oh, let's go. Lu Ming couldn't wait. But the next moment, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly widened. This was because, in another direction, he actually saw a planet, an incomparably huge planet. There were no planets in the universe ruins. How could there be a planet here? It was many times bigger than ordinary planets. This is the dragon's mother planet. Lu Ming exclaimed. Yes, he was too familiar with the aura of this planet. It was the dragon's mother planet. Lu Ming didn't expect to see the dragon's mother planet here. Immediately, he saw another strange thing near the dragon clan's home planet. Yes, it looked like a ball from afar. A hazy light shroud enveloped the entire world. That was the primordial divine lake world. The dragon's mother planet and the primordial divine lake world. Lu Ming smiled. Ao Qian and Fei Huang said that they would push the dragon's mother planet and the primordial divine lake world to the universe ruins. Third senior brother, let's set off later. I'm going to meet some acquaintances. Lu Ming said. Although he wanted to see Xian Yanqing immediately, Mid-Autumn Moon, Pantheon, and his past self were all in the primordial divine lake world. They were in seclusion. If they knew that he was captured by the heavenly palace after coming out, how worried would they be? So, it wouldn't be too late to meet Xian Yanqing after seeing Mid-Autumn Moon and the others. Well, I also have some acquaintances here. It won't be too late to set off in a few days. Are you going back to the dragon's mother planet? The third demon sword nodded. The last sentence was directed at the 9 divine dragons. At this moment, the 9 divine dragons' eyes were completely fixed on the dragon's mother planet. At this moment, the eyes of the 9 peak emperor god divine dragons were brimming with tears. Their bodies were trembling slightly due to excitement. The dragon's mother planet was their hometown. They had been enslaved by the heavenly palace for dozens of stellar years. Now, they finally saw their hometown. Senior, we're going back to the dragon's mother planet. One of the divine dragons nodded. Go. The third demon sword waved his hand. Immediately, the 9 divine dragons thanked the third demon sword and flew toward the dragon's mother planet. When they flew into the dragon race's mother planet, they disappeared. The 10,000 dragons seal outside the dragon race's mother planet did not stop them. Lu Ming also revealed a smile. With the addition of 9 divine dragons at the peak of the God Emperor realm, the dragon clan's strength would recover even faster. Lu Ming, go. I'm going to meet an old friend. The third demon sword stepped out and flew toward the group of continents. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. Lu Ming, on the other hand, flew toward the primordial divine lake world. The primordial divine lake world was shrouded in a light shield. This was the world wall. But now, several parts of the world wall were open. Lu Ming flew over. There were people guarding the door, but he could see people coming and going. Some people flew in and some flew out. Lu Ming guessed that the living beings of the primordial divine lake world and the group of continents should be interacting with each other. Lu Ming flew over and entered the primordial divine lake without any inspection. After all, the people of the heavenly palace could not mix in here. And the people here were his own people. I wonder if Autumn Moon and the others have come out of seclusion. Let's go to the primordial divine lake first. Lu Ming flew toward the primordial divine lake to see if Autumn Moon and the others had come out of seclusion. Lu Ming had just approached the shore of the primordial divine lake when he heard a roar. Damn the heavenly palace! How dare you kidnap my brother? I'll flatten the heavenly palace sooner or later. The voice was filled with anger. Lu Ming knew it was the voice of the myriad deities. From the tone, it seems like the myriad deities just learned about me. Did they just come out of seclusion? Lu Ming guessed. Chapter 4268. Lu Ming's guess was right. At this moment, Qiu Autumn Moon, myriad god, and his past body had just come out of seclusion. The moment they came out, they learned that Lu Ming's present body had been captured. They were instantly enraged, and myriad god let out an angry roar. On the side, Qiu Autumn Moon and his past body had ugly expressions. Young master, will your present body be all right? Qiu Autumn Moon asked Lu Ming's past body, her eyes filled with worry. After all, whether it was his past body or present body, it was still Lu Ming. How could she not be worried? Don't worry. I can sense that my present body should be fine. If my present body had fallen, would be able to sense that he is still alive, Lu Ming's past body said. This made Xiao Autumn Moon and Myriad God heave a sigh of relief. At this moment, the expression of Lu Ming's past body suddenly changed, revealing a look of pleasant surprise. I can sense that my present body is very close to this place. It's already nearby. What? On the side, Xiao Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and the others from Primordial Divine Lake were stunned. Lu Ming's present body had arrived and was not far from here? No way. Wasn't Lu Ming's present body captured by the Heavenly Palace? It was almost impossible to escape after being captured by the Heavenly Palace. How could Lu Ming's present body appear nearby? Xiao Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and the others were dumbfounded. As for his past body, he had already looked in a certain direction. Although his past body and present body could not communicate telepathically, they could still sense each other. As long as they were within a certain distance, they could sense each other. At this moment, Lu Ming's present body was walking through the air, his gaze meeting with his present body. Ha ha ha, as expected of me, Lu Ming. No matter what kind of danger you encounter, you can always escape successfully. Lu Ming's past body laughed heartily, looking smug. Xiao Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and the others also looked in the direction of Lu Ming's present body. Their eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. Young Master. Xiao Autumn Moon hurriedly flew towards his present body. Myriad God, his past body, and the others from Primordial Divine Lake also flew towards Lu Ming. Young Master, we just came out of seclusion when we heard that you were captured by the Heavenly Palace. Are you all right? How did you get out? Xiao Yu sized Lu Ming up and asked a few questions. The myriad deities and his past body also revealed looks of curiosity. It's like this. Immediately, Lu Ming gave a brief account of what had happened. They were secretly amazed. They hadn't thought that Lu Ming would experience so many things in just a few hundred years after being captured by the Heavenly Palace. At the same time, Lu Ming was also looking at Xiao Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and his past body. He was surprised. The cultivation of these three people had skyrocketed. Needless to say, Myriad God's cultivation was even more unfathomable. Xiao Autumn Moon's cultivation had also broken through a few layers. She was definitely above the third Great Supreme God layer. Lu Ming guessed that Xiao Moon had most likely reached the fourth Great Supreme God layer. A few hundred years ago, Xiao Moon's cultivation was only at the first Great Supreme God layer. It could be seen how fast Xiao Autumn Moon had progressed in the past few hundred years. In a few hundred years, she had advanced by 3 layers. This speed was simply unheard of. However, Xiao Autumn Moon's improvement wasn't the greatest. The greatest improvement was his past body. Before entering Primordial Divine Lake, his past body was only at the 7th Godly Emperor layer. Now, not only had he broken through the Great Supreme God layer, but he had also reached the 3rd Great Supreme God layer. This breakthrough was simply terrifying. One could imagine how much the eggshell and egg white left by the Primordial Divine Spirit had helped them. Lu Ming was really happy. Myriad God was his friend, Xiao Autumn Moon was his woman, and his past body was himself. The stronger they were, the better. Unfortunately, my cultivation hasn't broken through yet. How can I break through? Lu Ming's present body sighed in his heart. He had encountered a huge bottleneck. He had tried his best, but he still couldn't break through this bottleneck. This gave him a headache. It seems like I have to go and ask Senior Fei Huang. Senior Fei Huang should be on the Dragon Clan's mother planet, right? Lu Ming thought. They chatted for a while. Lu Ming's present body said that he wanted to go to the Dragon Clan's mother planet to ask Fei Huang some questions. Follow me. The past body said and then stepped out, heading towards the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Needless to say, the present body understood the meaning of the past body. The past body was very familiar with the Dragon Clan's mother planet. If he wanted to find Fei Huang, he naturally needed the past body to lead the way. Soon, they entered the Dragon Clan's mother planet and headed in a direction. Soon, they came to a lake. The lake wasn't big, but the lake water was as clear as a mirror. There were lotuses growing on the lake. These lotuses were very large. Some of them were several meters in diameter. On one of the lotuses, there was a figure sitting cross-legged, like an otherworldly fairy. This person was Fei Huang. Is it the real body or the soul incarnation? It should be the soul incarnation. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. At this moment, Fei Huang opened her eyes and smiled. Lu Ming, you're here. She didn't seem surprised to see Lu Ming's present body. It seemed that Lu Ming being able to escape from the heavenly palace was within her expectations. Lu Ming was lucky to escape. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, "Tell me, how did you escape?" Fei Huang asked with a smile. It's like this, Lu Ming told her what had happened. So it's the third demon sword. That boy was suppressed by the heavenly palace for dozens of years. I hope he can control his temper. Then, she looked at Lu Ming and said, "You must have many questions for me this time, right?" "Yes, Senior Fei Huang. After I reached the top of the 9th Godly Emperor layer, I encountered a bottleneck. I tried many times, but I couldn't break through. I don't know why." "Senior, please tell me," Lu Ming said. Taboo body. It's indeed hard to break through the limit of the Divine Emperor realm because the experience of others is useless. You can only rely on yourself. However, it's not too difficult for a Divine Emperor to break through to the Divine Emperor realm. Let me have a look. Fei Huang got up, stepped into the air, and landed beside Lu Ming's present body. With a wave of her hand, a beam of energy enveloped Lu Ming. Then, Fei Huang's eyes emitted a dazzling glow, as if she wanted to see through Lu Ming. With one look, a trace of fluctuation appeared on Fei Huang's originally calm face. "Boy, you've cultivated so many ancient secret skills?" Fei Huang looked at Lu Ming speechlessly. "Is there a problem with cultivating ancient secret skills? Didn't you say that the more ancient secret skills I cultivate, the better it will be for me in the future?" Lu Ming said. He had a bad feeling. "Yes, the more forbidden body you cultivate, the better it will be for you. However, you've cultivated too many," said Fei Huang. Lu Ming. Chapter 4269. Lu Ming was speechless. "Weren't you the one who said that the more secret techniques one cultivated, the better? Why are you blaming me for cultivating too many now?" Lu Ming was full of resentment. "Yes, the forbidden body. The more secret techniques one cultivates, the better. The more secret techniques one cultivates, the stronger the power of the forbidden force will be. Moreover, it can be used as a reference in the future and it will be easier for one to walk their own path. However, I never expected that you would be able to find so many ancient secret techniques. You have already mastered more than half of them." Fei Huang was speechless. How did she know that Lu Ming was so abnormal that he could find so many ancient secret techniques? Many ancient secret techniques had been lost. It was difficult to find even one, but Lu Ming had found more than 1,800 of them. Fei Huang expressed that she was also very helpless. "Senior Fei Huang, since things have come to this, how can I break through?" Lu Ming asked helplessly. "If you want to break through now, there's only one way, and that is to rely on yourself," Fei Huang said. Lu Ming was speechless. "What you need to do now is to use the existing secret techniques as your foundation and create your own unique secret technique. Then, with this secret technique, you can break through the current bottleneck and break through to the Divine Emperor realm," Fei Huang said. "Create my own path and create my own secret technique?" Lu Ming muttered. "That's right. According to my original estimation, you would need to reach peak Emperor God at the very least and break through to the Divine Master realm before you need to take this step. However, because you have mastered too many secret skills and ancient secret skills, this process has been brought forward by an entire realm. However, once you've created your own path, your combat strength will skyrocket and you'll gain a lot. Fei Huang said. Senior, thank you for your guidance. I'll definitely do it. Lu Ming said with a determined gaze. He had enough confidence in himself. Moreover, he had the primordial god stone. Back then, the lord of the primordial divine court relied on the primordial god stone to create 3,000 ancient secret techniques. This showed how mysterious the primordial god stone was. By relying on the primeval god stone and the secret arts he had mastered, it shouldn't be too difficult for him to forge his own path, right? Don't be too confident. If you want to walk your own path, the difficulty will be beyond your imagination. For example, I have already forgotten all the secret techniques that I have mastered in the past. I only have my own path in my heart, Fei Huang warned seriously. Lu Ming's heart shook. If he wanted to walk his own path, did he need to forget all the secret techniques? He had mastered more than 1,800 ancient secret techniques and tens of thousands of ordinary secret techniques. It would be too difficult for him to forget all of them. As if seeing Lu Ming's worry, Fei Huang continued, of course, you don't have to worry too much. When you first start walking your own path, you don't have to forget all your secret techniques. Only when you reach the later stages will you have to forget all your secret techniques. Only when you have your own Tao and your own path will you be able to reach the grand accomplishment stage. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. Alright, regarding the matter of cultivation, just proceed in this direction. Do you have any other questions? Fei Huang said. Senior Fei Huang, I want to know why the people here, I mean all of you, want to go against the Heavenly Palace? Lu Ming asked. He had always been curious about this question. Why were there so many people who wanted to become the Heavenly Palace's archenemy, as if they would not rest until one of them was dead? Was it because the Heavenly Palace ruled the universe domineeringly and the other weaker races wanted to resist? Lu Ming felt that the reason was not that simple. I knew that you would ask this question. Fei Huang said. Then, she pondered for a while as if she was thinking about how to phrase it. In the primitive universe, the original races and forces were far more than what they are now. Let's not talk about other things. Let's talk about the top 10 races. In the distant past, the top 10 races were not like what they are now. The top 10 races have changed several times. Do you know why those powerful races disappeared? Fei Huang asked. Could it be that they were destroyed by the Heavenly Palace? Lu Ming said. He thought of the Sky Heart race. That's right. Fei Huang nodded. Why does the Heavenly Palace want to destroy these races? Is it because they are afraid that these races are too strong and will threaten the Heavenly Palace's rule? Or are these races not willing to submit to the Heavenly Palace's rule? Lu Ming asked. No. Let me tell you, the Heavenly Palace's strength is much stronger than you think. No matter how strong these races are, they will not be able to threaten the Heavenly Palace's rule. As for not submitting to the Heavenly Palace's rule, there is one reason, but that is not the main reason. The main reason is that the Heavenly Palace wants to extract the bloodline of these races to refine some kind of treasure. Fei Huang said. What? Lu Ming was shocked. This was shocking news, far beyond Lu Ming's imagination. The Heavenly Palace wants to refine some kind of treasure or cultivate some kind of skill. They need the bloodline of a powerful race, and not just one or two bloodlines, but almost the entire race's bloodline. Therefore, the Heavenly Palace usually encourages the races in the universe to compete with each other. Only through competition can they grow. This is like raising poisonous insects. When a race grows to an extremely strong level, it is time to harvest. The Heavenly Palace will find a reason to kill most of the living beings of this race and extract their bloodline. In the end, the races in the universe are just the Heavenly Palace's captive prey. That is why so many people resist the Heavenly Palace and want to overthrow the Heavenly Palace. From the beginning, the Heavenly Palace, the archaic celestial court, to me, your father-in-law, we have all discovered the Heavenly Palace's secret. That is why we want to overthrow the Heavenly Palace. Only by overthrowing the Heavenly Palace can we save the races in the universe. Fei Huang explained in more detail. Lu Ming's heart was in turmoil, and he couldn't calm down. He never thought that there would be so many secrets behind this. The Heavenly Palace's methods could be said to be extremely cruel. Why did they have to sacrifice one powerful race after another in order to cultivate some kind of treasure or skill? This kind of method made one's hair stand on end. Perhaps the Sky Heart race and the Dragon race were exterminated because of this. The Heavenly Palace was the real cancer in the universe. After a long while, Lu Ming finally calmed down. Senior, why do you say that the taboo body is the natural enemy of the Heavenly Palace? Could it be that the treasure that the Heavenly Palace wants to refine needs the taboo power? Lu Ming asked. He couldn't help but think this way because the Heavenly Palace's experts had captured him and wanted to extract the taboo power. No. Fei Huang shook her head and said, that's because as the power of the taboo grows stronger and stronger, it will oppress the Celestial Palace. It will make the people of the Celestial Palace grow weaker and weaker. Thus, the taboo bodies and the Celestial Palace are mortal enemies. Lu Ming was stunned. There was actually such a thing? Why was that? Lu Ming immediately asked. This time, Fei Huang was silent. Chapter 4270. Fei Huang was silent for a while before she said, Lu Ming, this matter involves a very deep secret. It even involves the ruins of the universe and the matters of the previous era. Telling you now will do more harm than good. How about this, when your cultivation reaches the Divine Master Realm, I'll tell you everything. Reach the Divine Master Realm? Lu Ming said. His heart was itching. He could not wait to know all the secrets immediately. Yes, because there are some things that only the Divine Master Realm is qualified to participate in. Take the ruins of the universe for example. We're only at the edge of the ruins now, so there's not much danger. If you want to explore the ruins of the universe and head to the depths of the ruins, you'll need at least the Divine Master Realm cultivation. It's the same principle. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming was helpless and could only suppress his doubts. When he reached the Divine Master Realm, he would naturally know. Senior, do you know where Shaoqing is? Lu Ming asked. Anyway, when he met Fei Huang, he would ask where Xian Yanqing was. Fei Huang would most likely know. Some of the doubts in his heart had been resolved. He couldn't wait to see Xian Yanqing. Shaoqing is cultivating somewhere in the ruins of the universe. If you want to find her, take this map. Fei Huang nodded and waved her hand. A map flew to Lu Ming's present body and was caught by Lu Ming's present body. Lu Ming injected forbidden energy. The jade talisman glowed and a map appeared. In one area of the map, there was light, while the other areas were dark. This lit-up area is relatively safe. Anyone below the Divine Master Realm can go there. It's about the size of the entire primitive universe. Those dark areas are extremely dangerous. Without the cultivation of the Divine Master Realm, one should never go there. Shaoqing's location is here. After Fei Huang finished speaking, she stretched out her finger and pointed at a spot on the map. A dot of light appeared there. Although the ruins of the universe are dangerous, there are also opportunities. This place is very suitable for Shaoqing to cultivate. Previously, Shaoqing brought some people here to cultivate. You can follow the map and find him. Oh right, take back your things. After saying that, Fei Huang waved her hand and a pitch-black skeleton flew out. Beside the pitch-black skeleton was a metal ball. Lu Ming, you're back. The metal ball cried out excitedly. Who else could it be but Qiuqiu? That pitch-black skeleton was naturally Bone Devil. Bone Demon and Qiuqiu had always been by the side of the present body, so when they saw two Lu Ming, they naturally flew towards the present body. Qiuqiu flew to the present body and spun around Lu Ming excitedly. As for the bone devil, it flew directly into Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. Ha ha ha, this old man knew that you would be fine. I'll return all your belongings to you. Bone devil laughed and one item after another flew out. First was the battle character formula, which returned to Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. Then, it was the mysterious ice rod, the gale pearl, and the storage ring. They're all back. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. With these belongings, it was equivalent to having a lot of trump cards. He would be more confident. All right, I've told you everything that needs to be told. Go and find Xiaoqing. After not seeing you for so many years, she also misses you very much. Fei Huang said and waved her hand gently. The past and present bodies clasped their fists and bid farewell before leaving. Somewhere in the void of the dragon race's mother planet, the past and present bodies stood facing each other. They looked at each other and nodded silently. Then, the past body emitted a dazzling light and rushed towards Lu Ming. Then, it directly rushed into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. In the next moment, the past body appeared in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. Under the feet of the past body, there was a bowl-shaped object floating. This was clearly a primordial god's eggshell. The past body sat cross-legged in the eggshell, closed its eyes, and silently comprehended various origin secret techniques. Now, Lu Ming's identity had been exposed. It was time for the two bodies to act together. Although it was risky for the two bodies to act together, both bodies would be in danger if they encountered danger. However, there were more benefits. First of all, the two bodies together were stronger, had more adaptable methods, and had more trump cards. In addition, when they obtained some opportunities, both bodies could use them. For example, previously, the current body acted alone, or some opportunities that the past body could use would be wasted. Therefore, Lu Ming decided that if it was not necessary in the future, the two bodies would act together. In that case, the two bodies could switch at will. For example, if he restrained his aura now and emitted the aura of his past body, others would know that he was Lu Ming. At least if he met his relatives or acquaintances, others would not mistake him. Just like Mid-Autumn Moon and the myriad gods, didn't they recognize him wrongly? After the past body entered his sea of consciousness, Lu Ming took out the map of the universe ruins and looked at it carefully. Then, after sending a message to Mid-Autumn Moon and the myriad gods, Lu Ming flew in a direction according to the map. The universe ruins were very vast. Just the area marked on the map that they could explore was equivalent to the size of the current primitive universe. As for the dragon race's homeworld, it was quite a distance away from where Xianyinxing cultivated. If Lu Ming flew at full speed, it might take him a month or so. As he flew, he jumped over floating continents one after another. Although there were some plants growing on these continents, there were almost no animals. They looked dead silent. Of course, Lu Ming also perked up and didn't dare be careless. After all, this was the universe ruins. Just like that, Lu Ming flew for nearly a month. It should be near this area. Lu Ming took out the map again and looked at it. Then, he continued to fly for a while. In front of him, a continent appeared. This continent was very huge. Its area was about 5 times the size of an ordinary life planet. Moreover, from afar, it was pitch black. This is demonic qi. What a dense demonic qi. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The continent in front of him was filled with dense demonic qi. The dense demonic qi spread from the continent to the void. There's no mistake. This should be it. This place is suitable for Xiaoqing to cultivate. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He then stepped out and dashed toward the mainland. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as he rushed into the continent, a hurricane formed by the dense demonic qi swept towards Lu Ming. It was extremely violent. Lu Ming waved his hand and a palm blade flew out, splitting the hurricane. However, more hurricanes swept towards Lu Ming. The hurricane in the sky above this continent is really strong. It's better to fly lower a little. Lu Ming thought and swooped down towards the continent. Sure enough, when he descended to a certain height, the hurricane suddenly disappeared and calmness was restored. There was only dense demonic chi left. Chapter 42-71. I don't know where Shaoqing is. He didn't reply to my messages. Lu Ming thought. Lu Ming couldn't use the illusory divine jade now. Otherwise, the people of the heavenly palace would be able to track him down. Besides, Xian Yanqing didn't have the illusory divine jade, so they had to rely on the sound-transmitting talisman. Lu Ming had sent a message to Xian Yanqing when he was close to the area, but Xian Yanqing hadn't replied. Lu Ming chose a direction and flew quickly. At the same time, he released his spiritual awareness and covered a large area to look for Xian Yanqing. What's that? Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes moved and he looked in a direction. He saw a few silhouettes flickering in that direction. They were dashing towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. Whoosh! 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 Before the silhouettes arrived, a few sharp energies attacked Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand and blocked the energies. The silhouettes had already arrived in front of him. They're not creatures of flesh and blood. Lu Ming's heart jumped. He had already seen what was attacking him. They were strange creatures. They didn't have flesh and blood bodies. They seemed to be formed by demonic chi. Their eyes were blood red and they were filled with violent intent. They attacked Lu Ming crazily. Powerful demonic chi swept towards Lu Ming. The three strange creatures weren't weak. They had the fighting strength of the first great supreme god layer. However, the first great supreme god layer was nothing to Lu Ming. Whoosh! 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 Lu Ming used his forbidden strength. His hand was like a knife. He slashed 3 times and the 3 creatures exploded. They turned into demonic chi and disappeared. These creatures must have been born in the special environment of this continent. They don't have any intelligence. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind and he continued to move forward. However, not long after, another strange creature charged towards Lu Ming. This time, there were even more of them. More than a dozen of them appeared and rushed towards Lu Ming like a swarm of bees. However, those creatures only had the strength of the first great supreme god layer. They were much weaker than Lu Ming. Numbers couldn't make up for the difference. Lu Ming easily killed those creatures. Then, he continued forward. But on the way, Lu Ming kept getting attacked by those creatures. He was getting stronger and stronger, and some of them had the strength of the second great supreme god layer. In the end, some cultivators of the third great supreme god layer appeared. Lu Ming had no choice but to take out his mysterious ice staff. Just like that, Lu Ming had traversed almost half of the continent, but he still didn't see any trace of Xian Yanqing. However, after passing through half of the continent, the number of strange creatures condensed from demon chi suddenly decreased. This lightened the pressure on Lu Ming by quite a bit. Suddenly, there was a flash in Lu Ming's eyes. His figure moved and he dashed forward at high speed. Because Lu Ming had found a corpse in front of him. It was a young man. He had already died. There was no sign of life on him. The fatal wound was between his eyebrows. His forehead had been pierced. This is the strength of the heavens. Lu Ming was astonished. He had found some residual strength on the young man's wound. It was the strength of the heavens of the heavenly human tribe. The young man had been killed by the heavenly human tribe. The heavenly human tribe had appeared here. Lu Ming's eyes flashed coldly. But immediately, he had a bad feeling. That young man was probably with Xian Yanqing. Fei Huang had said that Xian Yanqing hadn't come here alone to cultivate. He had come with others. Xian Yanqing wasn't the only one who was suitable to cultivate here. Other people who cultivated demon Tao divine power were also suitable to cultivate here. The universe ruins were an ownerless land. If the people who resisted the heavenly palace could come here, then the people from the heavenly palace could naturally come here too. There were experts from the heavenly palace here. Lu Ming's pupils contracted slightly. This wasn't good news. Shao Qing didn't reply. Could it be? Lu Ming's heart couldn't help but tighten. The bad feeling became even stronger. Swoosh. Lu Ming didn't care about hiding. He increased his speed to the limit and rushed forward. Not long after, he saw the body of another young man. There were also traces of the strength of the heavens on the young man's wound. Obviously, he had also been killed by the heavenly human tribe. Lu Ming's mood became more solemn and anxious. Traces of murderous intent emanated from him. At this moment, a few creatures condensed from demon chi rushed toward Lu Ming. They were directly killed by Lu Ming's ice. Heavenly Palace, if anything happens to Shao Qing, I will make you pay 10 times or 100 times the price, Lu Ming growled in his heart. His eyes were bloodshot as he continued to rush forward. He could already see the traces of a great battle here. The corpses were also arranged in this direction. This meant that he was looking in the right direction. Lu Ming increased his speed to the limit and flew quickly. Boom! Suddenly, a violent roar came from the front. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. There were sounds of battle in front of him. Someone was fighting. In this place, it was either the creatures condensed from demon chi or Xianyanqing and the people from the heavenly palace. No matter what the situation was, at least he could learn something. Lu Ming sped up and flew forward. As expected, he saw some figures fighting fiercely. There were 3 figures besieging 2 figures. Heavenly human tribe, Lu Ming squinted his eyes. 3 of them were from the heavenly human tribe. As for the other 2, needless to say, they must be the young geniuses who had come to cultivate with Xianyanqing. At this moment, the 2 of them were in a dangerous situation. They had already suffered some injuries. They were completely at a disadvantage. Whoosh! Lu Ming dashed over directly. The Bingxian rod was like a violent storm, blasting toward the 3 heavenly human powerhouses. The strongest of the 3 heavenly human tribe experts was only at the 3rd great supreme god layer. How could they resist the attack of the mysterious ice rod? When the mysterious ice rod pressed down, the 3 heavenly human tribe experts exploded and died on the spot. Whoosh! The 2 young geniuses breathed a sigh of relief. Brother, thank you for your help. A short-haired young man came over and thanked him. You're welcome. We're on the same side. By the way, where are the others? Also, do you know Xianyanqing? Where is she? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. You're here to find Xianyanqing? She's in danger now. She lured away a large group of Heavenly Palace experts by herself. She's heading in that direction. The short-haired young man said. Thank you. Lu Ming said. His figure flashed and he left the place. He flew forward quickly. This time, after flying for some distance, Lu Ming stopped. Because he was surrounded. Their figures flashed and at least a dozen figures surrounded Lu Ming in the middle. They were all experts from the Heavenly Palace. Most of them were from the Heavenly Human Tribe. A few of them were from other tribes. Some of them were young, but most of them were middle-aged or old. All of them were at the Great Supreme God layer. Their auras were powerful. Chapter 42-72. Those people from the Heavenly Palace had powerful chi because many of them were seniors. Another traitor, but he only has the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Let me deal with him. A young heavenly human stepped out. His eyes were as cold as lightning, and he threw a palm at Lu Ming. He didn't take Lu Ming seriously. He had the strength of the 1st great supreme god layer, and he was from the heavenly human clan. Any member of the heavenly human clan would be considered a genius in the primitive universe. He was strong enough to fight against cultivators of the third great supreme god layer. How could he take a cultivator of the ninth godly emperor layer seriously? He threw a punch at the young man. His strength was even heavier than a star. Even a cultivator of the first or second great supreme god layer would be killed by that punch, let alone a cultivator of the ninth godly emperor layer. Unfortunately, his opponent was Lu Ming. Bzzz. Lu Ming immediately used the mysterious ice staff. It shook violently and released a terrifying chi, which moved towards the young man from the heavenly human clan. The young man from the heavenly human clan frowned. "Oh no, hurry up and retreat!" shouted an old man. He wanted to save the young man from the heavenly human clan, but it was too late. Boom! As the mysterious ice staff smashed down, the young man from the heavenly human tribe exploded and died on the spot. "You want to die? You're a traitor. You're a sinner." A few burly men were enraged. They roared angrily and charged toward Lu Ming. Those people were all at least of the fourth great supreme god layer. Some of them even had the strength of the fifth great supreme god layer. They could see that Lu Ming was a monstrous cultivator. He had a deadly weapon and was extremely strong. He could kill ordinary cultivators of the third great supreme god layer instantly. Therefore, they sent cultivators of the fourth great supreme god layer to kill Lu Ming. Actually, Lu Ming couldn't fight against them anymore. In the past, Lu Ming would have had to run away or use the purple coffin to fight. But now, he didn't need to. What was difficult to deal with was his current body, not his past body. "Origin's secret technique, come out!" Lu Ming shouted and waved his hands. His glabella began to emit a dazzling light. At this moment, in between the eyebrows of the present body, the past body stood on the eggshell of the primordial divine spirit. His entire body was covered in dazzling godly light, and all kinds of godly powers were operating at full power. Meanwhile, various Origin secret arts appeared above the head of the present body. The Gate of Domination, the Horn of the Ancient Divine Dragon, the Moon of the Moon, the Sun of the Sun, the Sword of Void Cleaving, the Bell of Heavenly Evil. There were a total of more than 20 Origin source secret techniques. Every Origin secret technique exuded a terrifying power, and they had already severed many shackles. It was obvious that his past self had obtained a great opportunity at the primordial divine lake. Not only had his cultivation base improved by leaps and bounds, but he had also made significant breakthroughs in the Origin divine power factor and various Origin secret techniques. Therefore, even though his cultivation base had improved tremendously, he hadn't fallen behind in terms of his ability to fight those of a higher level. Instead, he had become even stronger. Some people's cultivation base improved tremendously when they had a fortuitous encounter, but they would fall behind in other aspects. That way, even though his cultivation base had improved, his battle prowess would be weaker than others of the same level. For example, some geniuses could fight those of a higher level than them when they were godly emperors. Then, they had a fortuitous encounter, and their cultivation base had improved tremendously. They had reached the first or second great supreme god layer. However, their Origin divine power factor or Origin secret techniques hadn't broken through. Therefore, their ability to fight those of a higher level would definitely be weaker. They wouldn't be able to fight those of a higher level than them. Only when their cultivation base had broken through and they hadn't fallen behind in other aspects could they maintain their ability to fight those of a higher level. Not only had his past self not fallen behind, but he had become even stronger. Roar! A terrifying roar came from the God's Gate. Then, an incomparably huge primordial divine spirit rushed out of the God's Gate. It was very similar to when the 10,000 gods had used the God's Gate. After that, the Moon of the Moon and the Sun of the Sun emitted dazzling lights. The two opposite strengths collided and created a destructive strength. On top of that, the Tian Xia bell emitted a clear and melodious sound. All kinds of Origin secret techniques had different effects. When they attacked together and coordinated with each other, they could erupt with shocking power. The first one to bear the brunt was an old man of the fifth great supreme god layer. He was affected by the Tian Xia bell. His body stiffened, and he stopped moving. Slash. An empty void sword flashed and the old man's third eye was pierced. His soul was destroyed at the same time. The old man's eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe it. He had the strength of the fifth great supreme god layer. He would have never thought he would be killed. How could a godly emperor suddenly release such a terrifying attack? How was that possible? That was the old man's last thought. At that moment, the other secret skills of the origin also launched a fierce attack. The other's cultivation was below the fifth level of the Emperor God realm, so they could not withstand Lu Ming's attack. All kinds of secret skills of the origin fell, and the people of the Heavenly Palace were killed one by one. There were a few people of the Heavenly Palace who hadn't attacked yet. At that moment, they were astonished. They couldn't believe it. Then, their eyes were filled with fear. Their cultivation levels weren't as high as those who had attacked before. They only had the strength of the first, second and third great supreme god layer. Run! Run! These people screamed in terror and then fled in all directions. But Lu Ming wanted to kill them. How could he let them run away? Slash! Lu Ming used the Great Aurora technique. His silhouette flickered and he appeared next to a middle-aged man of the Heavenly Human clan. He attacked him with his mysterious ice rod and killed him. At the same time, the void-piercing sword streaked across the sky at an incredible speed. It pierced through the forehead of a strong cultivator of the Heavenly Palace and killed him. Lu Ming had too many tricks up his sleeve. Besides, he had joined hands with his current body. How could those people escape? In a short time, they were all killed. Little Qing, you'll be fine. After killing those people, Lu Ming didn't stop and continued moving forward. After that, Lu Ming didn't encounter any obstacles. He quickly arrived at the edge of the continent. As soon as he arrived at the edge of the continent, Lu Ming saw some lights in the sky. It was still far from Lu Ming, but he could already see some people fighting. It was probably Xian Yanqing and the people of the Heavenly Palace. Let's go. Lu Ming immediately jumped into the sky and used the great teleportation technique to move forward. After more than 10 teleportations, Lu Ming finally saw the situation in front of him. A large group of people surrounded a single person. Chapter 4273. A large group of people surrounded one person and kept attacking. That group of people were all from the Heavenly Palace. Some were from the Heavenly Human clan, some were from other clans. Lu Ming was astonished when he saw the person who was surrounded. Xian Yanqing. If the person who was surrounded wasn't Xian Yanqing, who else could it be? At that moment, Xian Yanqing was at a disadvantage and had to focus on defending herself. She was surrounded by 9 black lotuses. Those black lotuses had an incredible defensive power. There were at least 100 strong cultivators from the Heavenly Palace around her, but they couldn't break through the defense of those 9 lotuses. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. However, his heart was still hanging in the air. He realized that those people from the Heavenly Palace were too strong. Their qi was as thick as a mountain, unfathomable. According to Lu Ming's experience, at least half of them had the strength of the 5th great supreme god layer or above. More than 100 strong cultivators and half of them had the strength of the 5th great supreme god layer. He could not figure out the cultivation level of some of the strongest people. However, Lu Ming had come into contact with people of this level before. 9th great supreme god layer. Indeed, there were at least 3 people who had the strength of the 9th great supreme god layer. They were almost at the top of the great supreme god layer. Lu Ming couldn't fight against them. They could easily kill Lu Ming. However, the attacks of so many experts were blocked by Xian Yanqing. She has the strength of the 6th great supreme god layer? Lu Ming's heart stirred. He realized that Xian Yanqing's cultivation level was also very high. She had the strength of the 6th great supreme god layer. There was a huge gap between the 6th Great Supreme God layer and the 9th Great Supreme God layer. But Xian Yanqing was terrifyingly strong. She had covered the whole area with her special domain, and the 9 black lotuses had blocked all their attacks. But Xian Yanqing was still at a disadvantage. She could only defend herself. She couldn't fight back. Even though she was strong, there were many people from the heavenly human clan. They were all geniuses. They were stronger than cultivators of the same level. No matter how strong Xian Yanqing was, she couldn't fight against cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer who were 3 levels higher than her. It was already a miracle that she could block the attacks of so many strong cultivators. But if it continued, her defense would be broken sooner or later. Attack with all you've got. This is a peerless genius of the rebels. She can't hold on much longer. Kill him and you'll be rewarded greatly, shouted a middle-aged cultivator of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. His sword. Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming could see that Xian Yanqing's black lotuses weren't formed by some secret technique. They were a kind of treasure. It was like some kind of weapon. Only a powerful weapon could have such a strong defense. At that moment, Xian Yanqing's heart skipped a beat. She sensed something and looked at Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing's body trembled when she saw Lu Ming. Her eyes shone brightly. Little Qin, you recognized me? Lu Ming was also a little confused. He was using his present body. He didn't release the qi of his past body. Xian Yanqing had never seen his present body. How could she recognize him? Could it be that Fei Huang had shown Xian Yanqing his present appearance? A few thoughts flashed across Lu Ming's mind. At that moment, the people from the Heavenly Palace also noticed Lu Ming. Another traitor is here. He's just a cultivator of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. What are those pieces of trash doing? How could they let a cultivator of the 9th Godly Emperor layer come here? Said a cultivator of the Heavenly Palace. He had the strength of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. This time, there were more than 100 people who had come to explore the ruins of the universe. They had bumped into Xian Yanqing and the others. The Heavenly Palace and the traitors were mortal enemies. As soon as they saw each other, they started fighting to the death. Almost all of the other traitors had been killed. They had gathered most of their high-end combat power to surround and kill Xian Yanqing. Xian Yanqing was too strong. He was so young and he had already broken through to the 6th Great Supreme God layer. That was incredible. Furthermore, Xian Yanqing's battle prowess was unbelievably strong. Such a person must be killed. They had gathered most of their strong cultivators to kill Xian Yanqing. They had also left some strong cultivators to kill the other traitors. The other traitors weren't very strong. They should have been able to kill them all. But now, there was a cultivator of the 9th Godly Emperor layer there. Go and kill him, ordered an old man of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. I'll go and kill him, replied someone. Then, they flew towards Lu Ming. It was a middle-aged man from the Angel clan. His qi wasn't weak. He had the strength of the 4th Great Supreme God layer. Against a cultivator of the 9th Godly Emperor layer, a cultivator of the 4th Great Supreme God layer would definitely be able to kill him. That was what everybody thought. The middle-aged man from the Angel clan was extremely fast. He had 8 wings on his back. When he flapped them, he turned into a beam of light and threw himself at Lu Ming. In the blink of an eye, he had crossed a long distance and was getting closer to Lu Ming. Tian Xia Bel, void-breaking sword, God's gate, shouted Lu Ming. A few original secret skills appeared above his head and attacked the middle-aged man from the Angel clan. Without any suspense, the middle-aged man from the Angel clan was instantly killed by those original secret skills. Many people from the Heavenly Palace were astonished. Their eyes were filled with murder. Another peerless genius. We can't let him go, said a few people coldly. Hurry up and leave, shouted Xian Yanqing. Even though she knew that Lu Ming was extremely strong, his cultivation level was too low. He couldn't compete with the strong cultivators of the Heavenly Palace. You want to leave? Hee, none of you can leave. Go and kill him. Send more strong cultivators. Ordered a cultivator of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. Instantly, a dozen strong cultivators moved towards Lu Ming. Their speed was astonishing. Some of them had the strength of the 7th Great Supreme God layer. Sending so many strong cultivators to kill a godly emperor was like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. They had to kill Lu Ming. Swoosh. Before those people could reach him, Lu Ming used the great teleportation technique and moved backwards. In the blink of an eye, he appeared tens of thousands of li away. That's the great teleportation technique of the ancient era. Some people from the Heavenly Palace recognized this ancient secret technique. Split up and chase him, shouted a cultivator of the 7th Great Supreme God layer. He chased after Lu Ming like crazy. 7th Great Supreme God layer cultivators were extremely fast. Even if Lu Ming used the great teleportation technique, he couldn't catch up with them. However, Lu Ming was already far away from them. At that moment, he kept using the great teleportation technique to change his position. That cultivator couldn't catch up with Lu Ming in a short time. What a piece of trash. You guys surround her. We'll attack and kill that boy first. Agreed, said 2 cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. Chapter 4274. The 2 cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer had joined the battle personally. They led a group of strong cultivators to attack Lu Ming. They were also afraid that the longer they delayed, the more unforeseen things would happen. If they delayed too long and the rebels sent even stronger experts, they would be in trouble. Therefore, they didn't want to waste time with Lu Ming. They sent their strongest cultivators to kill Lu Ming as quickly as possible. Then, they could focus on killing Xian Yanqing. The cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer were too fast. The 2 cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer were rushing towards Lu Ming from 2 different directions. Even though Lu Ming kept using the greater teleportation technique, the distance between them was getting shorter and shorter. Finally, they're here? Whispered Lu Ming. At that moment, he stopped. Then, his body started glowing and a silhouette came out of his body. That silhouette was Lu Ming's past body. At that moment, the past body was holding the purple copper coffin. On the other hand, Lu Ming's present body retreated rapidly, widening the distance between them. Using the purple copper coffin, one body was enough. That way, if something happened, both bodies wouldn't die. The past body was holding the purple copper coffin. Instead of moving back, he was moving towards the people of the Heavenly Palace. 2 people, that person seems to be Lu Ming. Suddenly, a heavenly human cultivator of the 9th Great Supreme God layer shouted crazily, "That's Lu Ming. He's hiding in the Dragon Clan's mother planet. He has a forbidden body, Lu Ming. We have to capture him at all costs." He had never thought that he would meet Lu Ming there. Lu Ming had a forbidden body. Everybody knew that. Mu Yun had a forbidden body. Not many people knew that. Therefore, they didn't recognize the present body. It's him. Capture him. The Lord Heaven and the Celestial Master will reward you handsomely. Don't let him go. The other people from the Heavenly Palace went crazy. They used all their strength and increased their speed to the maximum. They rushed towards Lu Ming's past body, wanting to take down Lu Ming. The 2 cultivators of the 9th Great Supreme God layer were the fastest. They quickly approached Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. Gotcha! He pushed with all his might, and the lid of the purple copper coffin was pushed open slightly. A terrifying aura spread out. Not enough, again. Lu Ming growled and continued to push the lid of the purple copper coffin. The gap on the purple copper coffin lid grew wider. Roar! Someone shouted furiously. Then, a hand covered with scales came out of the coffin and moved towards the two cultivators of the celestial clan of the ninth great supreme god layer. The two heavenly human clan's ninth layer great god realm experts' expressions changed drastically. Ah, what is this? It's the original spiritual being, run away! Shouted the two heavenly human cultivators of the ninth great supreme god layer. Their eyes were filled with fear. They couldn't resist the hand that came out of the purple copper coffin. The difference between their strengths was too great. They started to run away, but how could they run away? The hand that was covered with scales grabbed the air and a terrifying attractive force appeared. The two heavenly human clan's ninth layer great supreme god cultivators stopped running away and flew towards the hand that was covered with scales. The hand that was covered with scales grabbed the air. Bam bam! The two heavenly human clan's ninth layer great supreme god cultivators exploded. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. The other heavenly palace's cultivators took a deep breath when they saw that. They started to run away as fast as they could. But it was too late. The hand that was covered with scales continued to grab the heavenly palace's cultivators. They were all attracted by the attractive force and were crushed by the terrifying energy. Their bodies kept exploding and they died on the spot. In a flash, all the heavenly palace's cultivators who had attacked Lu Ming had died. The celestial palace experts who were still besieging Xianyinsheng broke out in a cold sweat as a chill ran down their spines. Terrifying, too terrifying. A few cultivators of the ninth great supreme god layer had been killed in a flash. The other great supreme god cultivators couldn't even withstand a single blow. In the purple copper coffin that Lu Ming took out, an extremely terrifying primitive god was imprisoned. It was not an primitive god that they could fight against. Run! Run! The heavenly palace's cultivators who were attacking Xianyinsheng didn't dare to stay any longer. They didn't have time to attack Xianyinsheng anymore. They all started to run away as fast as they could. You want to run? Lu Ming's past body's eyes were twinkling with cold light. He took the purple copper coffin and chased after those people. They had dared to attack Xianyinsheng, so he wanted to kill them. He wouldn't let any of them live. Roar! At this moment, the roar from the purple copper coffin became louder and louder. It made the purple copper coffin tremble slightly. Lu Ming's expression changed. The purple copper coffin produced a powerful force that made it difficult for Lu Ming to move forward. Moreover, there was a strange sound coming from the purple copper coffin. Lu Ming had never heard this sound before. What's going on? The expressions of Lu Ming's past body and present body changed. This kind of situation had never happened before. Something was wrong with the purple copper coffin. However, the heavenly palace's cultivators didn't know about this. They were overjoyed when they saw that Lu Ming had stopped. They ran away even faster and disappeared from the area in the blink of an eye. Close it. At this moment, Lu Ming didn't have time to chase after the heavenly palace's cultivators. He tried his best to close the purple copper coffin. This was because he felt that something was wrong with the purple copper coffin. He had a bad feeling. At the same time, his present body rushed over and tried to close the purple copper coffin together with his past body. However, no matter how hard Lu Ming tried, the purple copper coffin's lid didn't move. It even opened wider. Then, a head poked out from the purple copper coffin. It was the primitive divine spirit that had appeared in the heavenly palace's cage. He looked at Lu Ming's past body with a strange look in his eyes. Then, he reached out his scaly hand and grabbed at Lu Ming's past body. Oh no! His past body and present body's expressions changed drastically. The primitive divine spirit in the purple copper coffin was attacking him. What was going on? However, no matter how powerful the primitive divine spirit was, Lu Ming wouldn't just sit there and wait for his death. Lu Ming's past body let out a long roar and cast all kinds of origin source secret skills. At least 20 origin source secret skills blasted toward the palm that was covered with scales. In addition, the present body also made its move. After using the greater teleportation technique twice, the present body was filled with dazzling light, and the forbidden power was pushed to the extreme. It transformed into several beams of divine light that slashed toward the scale-covered palm. However, these attacks had no effect on the scale-covered palms. It was like a ball of cotton hitting a piece of steel. There was no effect at all. Chapter 4275. Lu Ming's attack landed on the scaly palm, but it was like an ant trying to shake a tree. It had no effect at all. The scale-covered palm didn't stop there. It grabbed at the past body, and in an instant, all of the past body's origin secret techniques collapsed. The past body trembled and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, his body was grabbed by the scaly palm. However, the terrifying power of the scaly palm did not continue to bombard Lu Ming. Instead, it quickly retracted into the purple copper coffin and disappeared completely. With a clang, the lid of the purple copper coffin closed automatically. Then, it floated quietly in the air. Lu Ming's present body was dumbstruck. What was going on? Why did the purple copper coffin suddenly change like this? Why did the primordial divine spirit inside suddenly attack and grab the past body? When he was in the heavenly palace's celestial prison, he had opened the purple copper coffin. The primordial divine spirit's entire body had rushed out of the purple copper coffin without attacking him. Now, why did it attack the past body? Could it be because the past body had cultivated divine power? Was it because it cultivated the universe myriad Tao technique that it attacked him? However, to Lu Ming's relief, the past body was not dead. Although the past body and the present body could not see each other, they could still sense each other. It was especially easy to sense if the other was alive or dead. He could clearly sense that the past body was fine and was still alive. However, he did not know what had happened in the purple copper coffin. Lu Ming, this may be a good thing. I can feel that the inside of the purple copper coffin is no small matter. Perhaps it is a great opportunity for your past body. Guemo said. I hope so. Lu Ming nodded and then flew to the side of the purple copper coffin. He reached out and grabbed it. The purple copper coffin quickly shrank and flew back into Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. He just felt that it was a pity that he and the past body had to be separated not long after joining forces. Fortunately, Shaoqing is fine. Lu Ming adjusted his mood and looked at Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming, what's going on? Xian Yanqing was also confused. He couldn't help but ask. He was just about to fly towards Lu Ming. Xian Yanqing had long since learned about Lu Ming's past self and present self from Fei Huang. Therefore, when he saw the present self, he immediately recognized it. Just as she was about to fly towards Lu Ming, her expression changed drastically. She felt a strong attraction force acting on her body, trying to draw her to a certain place. Not good, Shaoqing, run. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression also changed greatly. He cried out in alarm and then rushed madly towards Xian Yanqing. Because at this time, a huge whirlpool suddenly appeared behind Xian Yanqing. The huge whirlpool emitted a strong attraction force. It was like a big mouth that wanted to swallow Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming was extremely anxious. He increased his speed to the limit, but he was still a step too late. Xian Yanqing's body involuntarily flew towards the whirlpool and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Damn it, Lu Ming roared. His body turned into an aurora. He used the greater aurora technique and rushed directly towards the whirlpool. His speed was fast enough. However, because he was afraid that opening the purple copper coffin would hurt Xian Yanqing, he was still far enough away from Xian Yanqing. At this moment, he wanted to rush over, but he was already a step too late. When Lu Ming rushed over, the whirlpool disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming rushed past the place where the whirlpool was just now. He didn't rush into the whirlpool. Damn it, who is it? What is it? Get out of here. Lu Ming roared. Every cell in his body was trembling. His body was covered in a dazzling light. All kinds of ancient secret techniques were unleashed crazily. Great destruction technique, great shattering technique, great aurora technique, all kinds of secret techniques poured out in an instant, bombarding the void where the whirlpool was just now. Rumble. The void shook violently and was forcefully torn apart. A huge crack appeared. That is, at this moment, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. His eyes couldn't help but widen. Through the crack in the void, he saw a huge city. It was an incomparably huge city. It was incomparably magnificent and filled with an ancient aura. At the front of the city, there was a huge gate. At this moment, he clearly saw Xian Yanqing's body fly into the gate and disappear. Then, the huge city emitted a dazzling light. After a slight tremble, it disappeared from the spot. Damn it! Lu Ming roared angrily and continued to tear the void. However, he couldn't see the shadow of the huge city. Lu Ming looked around the area but couldn't see the shadow of the huge city. Damn it, what is this huge city? Why was Shao Qing sucked into the huge city? Bone Demon, do you know? Lu Ming was incomparably irritable. He had just met Xian Yanqing and didn't even have time to exchange greetings before Xian Yanqing was sucked away by a huge city that appeared out of nowhere. First, his past body had been trapped in the purple copper coffin. Then, Xian Yanqing had been sucked away by an inexplicable giant city. Even with his temperament, he was extremely irritable. His heart was filled with boundless anger. At first, Lu Ming thought that it was done by the experts of the Heavenly Palace. However, he ruled out that possibility. If it was done by the Heavenly Palace, why did they only suck away Xian Yanqing and not him? Bone Demon was experienced and knowledgeable. Now, he could only ask Bone Demon. This seems to be a city from the previous era, Bone Demon spoke. His voice seemed to be very solemn. The previous era? Nonsense, this is the universe ruins. The things that appear here are all left behind from the previous era. I want to know more about it. Lu Ming said in an unpleasant tone. As if knowing that Lu Ming was in a bad mood, Bone Demon didn't bother much and said, actually, I'm not too sure either. Back then, I paid more attention to the matters of the previous era. You can ask Fei Huang. She should know more. Yes, Senior Fei Huang. Lu Ming seemed to have grabbed onto his last life-saving straw. Without stopping, he flew in the direction of the Dragon Clan's mother planet. Of course, the two places were very far apart. When Lu Ming returned to the Dragon Clan's mother planet, almost a month had passed. As soon as he returned to the Dragon Clan's mother planet, Lu Ming found Fei Huang. There's actually such a thing. Could it be that the Supreme Immortal City has appeared again? After hearing Lu Ming's description, Fei Huang frowned and whispered. Supreme Immortal City? Senior, what's the Supreme Immortal City? Lu Ming quickly asked. From your description, it's most likely the Supreme Immortal City. The Supreme Immortal City is a city passed down from the previous era. After the end of the previous era, the universe ruins were left behind. Although countless years have passed, it still contains endless fortuitous encounters. Fei Huang slowly explained. Chapter 4276. From the information we have, the Eldritch universe is divided into two epochs. The first epoch is the previous epoch, and we are now in the second epoch. In the first epoch, all living beings lived in the vast Eldritch universe. The cultivation conditions back then were far from what we have now. Therefore, it was a golden age for cultivation and there were countless experts. Therefore, there were a lot of treasures that were far from what we have now. Later on, when the Eldritch universe collapsed and the first epoch was destroyed, all the experts disappeared and only the ruins of the universe were left. However, there were also countless opportunities and treasures in the ruins of the universe. Many of these treasures were extremely tempting to those who had surpassed the Divine Master realm. The Taishang Immortal City is a treasured place. It has great opportunities for divine lords, divine emperors, and divine masters. It is a sacred place for cultivation. Therefore, you don't have to worry too much. If Shaoqing enters the Taishang Immortal City, not only will she not be in danger, but it will also be a great opportunity. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Fei Huang's words. How long will it take for Shaoqing to come out of the Taishang Immortal City? Lu Ming asked again. It was not easy to meet Xian Yanqing. Would they have to wait for a long time before they could meet again? Maybe you don't have to wait for Shaoqing to come out. Soon, you will be able to go in and find Shaoqing. Fei Huang said with a smile. Me? Can I enter the Taishang Immortal City too? Lu Ming asked. That's right. Fei Huang nodded and said, the Taishang Immortal City has appeared once in history. At that time, your father-in-law and I went in. Normally, the Taishang Immortal City is wandering in the depths of the ruins of the universe. It is impossible for outsiders to find it. Even I, your father-in-law, and the experts from the Heavenly Palace can't find traces of the Taishang Immortal City. However, after wandering in the ruins of the universe for countless years, the Taishang Immortal City might appear in the current Eldritch universe. About 60 solar years ago, your father-in-law and I were still very weak. We were only at the Divine Emperor realm. At that time, the Taishang Immortal City appeared once. That was the first time the Grand Supreme Immortal City appeared. Before the Grand Supreme Immortal City appeared, it appeared at the edge of the universe ruins. According to my deduction, it won't be long before the Grand Supreme Immortal City appears in the primitive universe. At that time, the Grand Supreme Immortal City will stay there for 1,000 years. At that time, it will be the time to enter. At that time, you can enter the Supreme Immortal City and reunite with Little Qing. Fei Huang explained. We can go in, right? I wonder how long it will take. Lulu asked Fei Huang. It's hard to say. If it's fast, it'll take a few months. If it's slow, it'll take a few years. At that time, the whole primitive universe will be alarmed, and countless people will enter. We, the Sky Exterminating Army, have to be prepared. We'll send a group of people in then. Fei Huang said, her eyes shining. The entire universe will be alarmed? Lu Ming was very surprised. That's right. The Taishang Immortal City is no small matter. It has great benefits for those below the origin realm, especially for the geniuses. No matter if they are primitive divine spirits or heavenly human tribe, they will be able to improve quickly no matter what cultivation technique they practice. Especially for the peerless geniuses. If they go in, their progress will be very shocking. Those who don't will fall behind and it will be difficult for them to compete with others in the future. Therefore, all the geniuses in the universe will go in, including some older people in their prime. When your father-in-law and I entered the Taishang Immortal City, we were only at the Divine Emperor realm. When we came out, we were already at the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. Fei Huang said. Entered the Divine Emperor realm and came out the peak of the Divine Emperor realm? Lu Ming was tongue-tied and dumbstruck. According to Fei Huang, one could only stay in the Taishang Immortal City for 1,000 years. In other words, Fei Huang and the others had only stayed in the Taishang Immortal City for 1,000 years and their cultivation had reached the peak of the Divine Emperor realm. This speed was simply shocking. One could imagine that there were great opportunities in the Taishang Immortal City. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to improve so quickly. No wonder Fei Huang said that the entire universe would be alarmed. Senior, why did the Taishang Immortal City suck Shaoqing in? I was also there. Why wasn't I sucked in? Lu Ming asked another question that had been bothering him. There are two possible reasons for this. The first is that the place where the Supreme Immortal City appeared is exactly where Shaoqing is standing. The second is very likely because Shaoqing has the reincarnation characteristic, because she has successfully reincarnated. I think the second possibility is more likely. Fei Huang said. The reincarnation characteristic. Lu Ming whispered. Lu Ming, you have to be prepared. The Taishang Immortal City might be a great opportunity for you. Aren't you having a hard time breaking through to the Divine Emperor realm now? However, I know a place in the Taishang Immortal City that can help you find your own path and break through to the Divine Emperor realm. Fei Huang said. Can it help me break through to the Divine Emperor realm? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed like he had to make a trip to the Taishang Immortal City. It wasn't just for the breakthrough of his cultivation, but also for Shaoqing. When all the geniuses in the universe entered the Taishang Immortal City, would Xian Yanqing encounter these people? Would she be in danger? Senior Fei Huang, are there any restrictions on entering the Taishang Immortal City? Can everyone enter? Lu Ming asked again. From what Fei Huang said, it seemed like even divine masters could enter. If they entered with divine masters, what could they use to compete with them? They probably wouldn't even be able to drink the soup. If they weren't careful, they would be slapped to death by the divine masters. Lu Ming, wait for me here. I'll go and spread the news. We have to make preparations in advance. If the Taishang Immortal City appears in the primitive universe, the 5 Heavenly Palace will definitely join forces to seal it. It won't be easy for us to enter then. Fei Huang said. Senior, you go ahead. I'll wait for you here. Lu Ming said. Fei Huang nodded. Her figure flashed and disappeared from where she stood. Lu Ming was alone, slowly digesting the news he had just heard. Slowly, he straightened out his thoughts. Origin realm, is it the realm above the Divine Master realm? Lu Ming thought of Fei Huang saying that anyone below the Origin realm could enter the Taishang Immortal City. Then, he asked Gumo, that's right. The realm above the Divine Master realm is called the Origin realm. Existences in this realm have already grasped some kind of origin of the universe and exist with the universe. As long as the universe is not destroyed, they will not be destroyed. They are the peak existences in the universe and are extremely terrifying. They can destroy galaxies with a wave of their hand. Gumo explained. Then what's the deal with overgods, origin venerables, and heavenly venerables? Lu Ming asked again. Chapter 4277. These 3 are all titles. Primordial divine spirits who reach origin realm are called overgods. Celestial race from the heavenly palace who reach origin realm are called celestial exalts. People from other races who reach origin realm are called origin exalts. Gumo explained. Lu Ming finally understood the meaning of these titles. They all represented origin realm. Clearly, the 3rd demon's sword was also at origin realm. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. The 3rd demon's sword was at the origin realm. How powerful was his father-in-law, whom he had never met before? Lu Ming and Gumo chatted for about 10 minutes before Fei Huang's figure reappeared. Lu Ming looked at Fei Huang expectantly, waiting for her to continue. Let's continue talking about the Taishang Immortal City. There are conditions to enter the Taishang Immortal City. The Taishang Immortal City is divided into 3 levels. Divine Masters will appear on the corresponding level. Divine Emperors will also appear on the corresponding level. Divine Emperors and those below Divine Emperors will also appear on the corresponding level. High-level cultivators can't enter the lower level. Similarly, low-level cultivators can't appear on the higher level. The environment and opportunities on each level are different. Of course, it's possible to break through the levels. For example, if you enter now, you'll definitely appear on the 1st level, which is the level for Divine Emperors or below. However, if you break through on this level and reach the Divine Emperor realm, you'll be able to break through the void and rush to the 2nd level, which is the level for Divine Emperors. After all, once you reach the Divine Emperor realm, you won't be able to obtain any opportunities if you continue to stay on the level for Divine Emperors or below. Your cultivation speed won't be fast either. Only on the corresponding level can you obtain the greatest opportunities. In addition, there are conditions to enter. The first and second levels have age restrictions. You can't be older than 1 stellar year. Once you're older than 1 stellar year, you won't be able to enter. In other words, it's not only the younger generation that can enter. Even those who are older than you can enter. Fei Huang explained. Generally speaking, according to the different ages, they were divided into several stages. Teenagers, young men, middle-aged men, and old men. In the God Emperor and God Emperor realm, those below the stellar year were considered to be in the prime of their lives. In other words, this time, not only would the younger generation enter the God Monarchs, God Emperors, and God Emperors, but there would also be people in their prime. As for the Divine Master realm, there are no restrictions, because time is of little significance to Divine Masters. As long as one is a Divine Master, they can enter the 3rd floor. Fei Huang explained. Lu Ming nodded and heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't pay attention to the God Masters. He only paid attention to those in the God Emperor realm or below. There's one more thing. While increasing your cultivation through fortuitous encounters in the Grand Immortal City is important, there's something else that's even more important, and that's the Origin Energy Seed. Once you obtain it, your future cultivation will proceed smoothly until you break through to reciprocity. You'll be able to make rapid progress without any obstructions at all. Even for those with the constitution of forbidden existences, it'll be extremely useful. However, only the strongest people on each floor will have the chance to obtain it. So, you must reach the end and become the strongest. Take this jade talisman and have a look. It contains my records about the Grand Supreme Immortal City. Study it carefully. Fei Huang said. She took out a jade talisman and passed it to Lu Ming. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ming took it and thanked her solemnly. You can stay here for the time being. We'll send people to keep an eye on the Grand Supreme Immortal City. Once the Grand Supreme Immortal City appears, I'll inform you. Fei Huang said. Thank you, Senior. Lu Ming clasped his fists. Fei Huang nodded. The next moment, she disappeared from where she was. Little Qing, let's meet in the Grand Supreme Immortal City then. Lu Ming muttered. He closed his eyes and began to comprehend the secret technique, attempting to find his own path. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. In these 3 years, the Grand Supreme Immortal City would appear between the primitive universe and the universe ruins once a year. Every time, it would appear for a while and disappear immediately. However, it was still captured by the people of the Heavenly Palace. This time, the 5 Heavenly Palace were alarmed. The 5 great celestial palaces also began to deploy, and the news spread throughout the entire primitive universe. In the primitive universe, different people might not have heard of the Grand Supreme Immortal City at all. However, some of the older generation, especially those who had lived for 60 stellar years or those who were in the Divine Master realm, naturally knew of the Grand Supreme Immortal City. Some of them had even entered in the past. When they heard about the Grand Supreme Immortal City, they were immediately excited. They began to gather the youths and adults of their respective races. Then, they contacted the Heavenly Palace and prepared to enter the Grand Supreme Immortal City when it appeared. The Heavenly Palace did not reject them. In any case, there was no limit to the number of people who could enter the Grand Supreme Immortal City. The Heavenly Palace issued an order for people of various races to gather in the 4 heavenly cities. When the Grand Supreme Immortal City completely appeared, they would enter together. For a time, the Dreamy Heavenly Palace, the Crepe Myrtle Heavenly Palace, the Divine Armament Heavenly Palace, and the Hongmeng Heavenly Palace, the 4 heavenly palaces cities of heaven were filled with people. It was unknown how many people there were, but it was completely in the hundreds of millions. Even some of the smaller races sent people over. This was because they heard that this would be a great opportunity. The Heavenly Palace did not limit which races were qualified to enter. Therefore, those who heard the news sent people over. 3 years later, the Grand Supreme Immortal City finally appeared in a star field at the edge of the primitive universe. It did not leave but stopped there. That star field was called the Withered Glory Star Field. The primitive universe was under the control of the Heavenly Palace. As soon as the Grand Supreme Immortal City appeared, the Heavenly Palace immediately received the news. The elites of the Heavenly Palace were immediately mobilized. It was not only the Divine Masters or the Lord of Heaven. This time, even the Heavenly Venerables were mobilized. An unknown number of them were mobilized. They completely sealed off the area around the Grand Supreme Immortal City. The Grand Supreme Immortal City has appeared. Let's go. Let's go. The 4 heavenly palaces issued the order. Immediately, countless people headed toward the Grand Supreme Immortal City. In the ruins of the universe, the Heaven Destroyer also received the news. The Heaven Destroyer was the name of all the people who rebelled against the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace called them rebels. The Heaven Destroyer naturally had spies all over the universe. With such a big commotion in the Heavenly Palace, the Heaven Destroyer also received the news. In the past 3 years, the Heaven Destroyer had long prepared. All those who met the requirements of age were gathered and waited for the Grand Supreme Immortal City to appear. During this time, they all gathered on a barren continent in the primitive universe. Lu Ming, come with me. The Grand Supreme Immortal City has appeared. It's time to go. On this day, Fei Huang appeared and said to Lu Ming. It's finally appeared. Little Qin, I'm here. Lu Ming's eyes flashed, revealing a hint of excitement. Chapter 4278. Senior Fei Huang, is the Taishang Immortal City occupied by the Heavenly Palace? How are we going to break in and fight with them? Lu Ming asked, feeling rather doubtful. According to Fei Huang, the Taishang Immortal City was too important. The 5 Heavenly Palace would probably send their overlords. How were they going to send people in? If the 5 Heavenly Palace joined forces, their strength would be unfathomable. The Heavenly Palace that Lu Ming had met before was only the dreamy Heavenly Palace. The overlords of the Heavenly Palace he had met were only those from the dreamy Heavenly Palace. He hadn't met the overlords of the other 4 Heavenly Palace. The dreamy Heavenly Palace alone was already unfathomable. With the help of the other 4 Heavenly Palace, their strength was simply unimaginable. Could they really send people into the Taishang Immortal City while being surrounded by the 5 Heavenly Palace? Would there be an earth-shattering battle? Indeed. If the overlords of the 5 Heavenly Palace are all here, it'll be difficult for us to send people in, but it's impossible for all of them to be here. In the ruins of the universe, there are some places that are rarer and more precious than the Taishang Immortal City that have attracted part of the Heavenly Palace's power. Besides, we can also join forces with the demons, Fei Huang said. Join forces with the demons? We have to join forces with the demons? Lu Ming frowned. To be honest, he had a bad impression of the demons. The demons were greedy and evil. They would eat the creatures in the untainted universe as soon as they caught them. If the demons rushed into the untainted universe, countless creatures would suffer. Looks like you have some misunderstandings about the demons. Do you think that the demons are extremely evil and only want to rush into the untainted universe and devour countless creatures? Fei Huang asked. Isn't that the case? Lu Ming asked. Indeed, the demons are evil, but their target isn't the untainted universe. Their real target is the heavenly human race. They only want to destroy the heavenly human race. However, the celestial race has dragged all the races in the primitive universe into their war chariot to fight against the demons. Naturally, the demons will hunt down any race they see. As for the devil's desire to destroy the primitive universe and devour the countless creatures in the primitive universe, those are all rumors spread by the heavenly human tribe. Fei Huang said. So it's like this. Could it be that the celestial race has a grudge against the demons? Lu Ming was very curious. That's right. The celestial race and the demons have enmity, and it's a feud that has lasted for generations. Therefore, there's nothing wrong with us allying with the demons. The truly evil ones are the celestial race. We have already sent people to contact the demons. The demons will launch an attack on the heavenly palace in the dark universe. They will dispatch a large number of top experts. This way, the 5 heavenly palace experts in the dark universe will be restrained by the demons. This way, we will have the confidence to send you into the Taishang Immortal City. Fei Huang said. As the two of them spoke, they had already arrived on a barren continent. In a flat area in the middle of the barren continent, a large number of figures had already gathered. At a glance, there were at least a few 100,000, close to 1,000,000. Most of them were young or in the prime of their lives. They gathered in groups of 3 to 5 and chatted casually. In the air, there was a group of people who were very special and also very eye-catching. They immediately attracted Lu Ming's attention. Because although these people didn't deliberately emit their aura, they made people feel an inexplicable pressure. Divine Masters. Lu Ming knew that these were all Divine Masters, and there were at least 1,000 of them. Lu Ming's pupils constricted and he gasped a breath of cold air. The Heaven Exterminating Troop had mobilized more than 1,000 Divine Masters. These were Divine Masters. It was difficult to see even one in the past, but now, there were over 1,000 of them. This number was simply shocking. The strength of Heaven Destroyer was far beyond Lu Ming's imagination. He could imagine that these 1,000 Divine Masters were definitely not all of Heaven Destroyer's Divine Masters. They might only be a part of it. According to Fei Huang, there were even more precious treasures in the universe ruins. There must be more Divine Masters exploring and training in the universe ruins. It was no wonder that Heaven Destroyer dared to go against the Heavenly Palace. It was not without reason that the Heavenly Palace regarded them as a great enemy. Among them, Lu Ming saw Autumn Moon's Master, Divine Master Dream Void, and the primordial Divine Masters, Hong and Ashur. The Divine Masters gathered together, and those below the Divine Master gathered together. Autumn Moon. Lu Ming glanced around and saw Autumn Moon and her 2 senior sisters, as well as Wanshen and the others. Lu Ming, go. I have other things to do. Fei Huang smiled. Lu Ming nodded and then flew toward Autumn Moon. Fei Huang soared into the sky and disappeared into the void. Obviously, there were Origin Realm existences in the surroundings. Fei Huang had probably gone to find them. This kind of high-level matter was not something he could participate in. Lu Ming stepped into the air and flew toward Autumn Moon. Young Master. As soon as Lu Ming approached, Autumn Moon discovered Lu Ming and flew over with joy. Autumn Moon, your cultivation has improved again. Lu Ming smiled and walked over to hold Autumn Moon's small hand. This attracted the attention of the surrounding youths, who constantly glanced at Lu Ming. Whether it was in terms of appearance or temperament, Autumn Moon was too outstanding. Standing in the crowd, she was like a crane in a flock of chickens. She had already attracted the attention of many youths. Now that they saw Lu Ming and Autumn Moon's close relationship, they naturally had some thoughts. Some sighed, some were indignant, and some were jealous. However, there were many experts here, and there were over 1,000 Divine Masters. In the void, there were also Origin Venerables. Naturally, no one dared to be impudent. Lu Ming pulled Autumn Moon and landed beside Wanshen and the others. By the way, young master, where's your past body? Also, didn't you go to find Sister Nianqing? Why don't I see her? Autumn Moon looked around curiously. Wanshen also looked over curiously. It's like this, Lu Ming could only briefly explain the matter. Of course, he used voice transmission to only tell Autumn Moon, Wanshen, and a few others who were close to him. This kind of secret naturally couldn't be easily told to other people who weren't familiar with it. Such a thing actually happened. Autumn Moon and Wanshen were also dumbfounded. By the way, do you know anything about the Taishang Immortal City? Lu Ming asked. Yes, the seniors have already explained it in detail. Autumn Moon said. I have a record of the Taishang Immortal City here. Take a look and see if it's more detailed. Lu Ming took out the jade talisman that Fei Huang had given him and handed it to Autumn Moon. This was given by Fei Huang, so it should be more detailed. Know thyself and know thy enemy, and thou shalt be victorious. The deeper one's understanding of the Taishang Immortal City, the more advantageous it would be after entering, and the greater the harvest. Autumn Moon took the jade talisman, scanned it with her spiritual consciousness, memorized the contents, and handed it to Wan Shen. After reading it, Wan Shen gave Autumn Moon 2 senior sisters. Chapter 42-79. At this moment, in the Taishang Immortal City of the Withered Glory Star Domain. The Taishang Immortal City was extremely huge. It floated in the air and was many times larger than an ordinary planet of life. It would take at least tens of thousands of ordinary planets of life to compare to the Taishang Immortal City. The Taishang Immortal City gave off a layer of hazy light that enveloped the surrounding space. This layer of light was very special. Anyone who entered this layer of light would be suppressed regardless of their cultivation level, making it difficult for them to use their strength. It was the same for divine emperors, divine masters, and even peak reciprocity experts. In front of the Taishang Immortal City was an extremely huge door. It was unknown what material it was made of, but it gave off a vast pressure. It was as if anyone would have to bow down before this door. Below the door was a flight of stairs that led straight to the door. At this moment, countless figures had gathered in the space around the Taishang Immortal City. The 5 great celestial palaces, no, to be precise, the 4 great celestial palaces. The most mysterious of the 5 heavenly palace, the heavenly palace, did not send anyone. The prodigies of the heavenly human clan under the 4 heavenly palace, the core disciples of the heavenly palace, and the prodigies of the countless races in the universe, as well as those in the prime of their lives, had all come. It was unknown how many people there were, but at a rough glance, there were at least 100 million of them. 100 million might seem like a lot, but it was actually nothing. How big was the primitive universe? How many races were there? There were so many young geniuses from so many different races, as well as people in their prime. Hundreds of millions of them were really nothing to worry about. Right now, the door to the Taishang Immortal City hasn't officially opened yet. Follow us in first. Once the door opens, you can enter through the door. A dignified voice rang out. It was a celestial venerate's command. No one dared to disobey. This time, more than one celestial venerate from the 4 heavenly palace had come. A little below these celestial venerates were people on the level of the Lord of Heaven. There were dozens of them. They were the first to fly towards the Grand Supreme Immortal City, followed by the hundreds of millions of figures behind them. When they entered the Taishang Immortal City, they immediately felt their cultivation being suppressed, making it difficult for them to utilize their strength. The only thing he could use was his physical strength. They were barely able to float in the air. They slowly approached the stairs and waited there. Yes, the demons of the dark universe have gathered and started a war with us. Suddenly, an Empyrean spoke. Of course, only the other celestial venerables and the Lord of Heaven could hear his voice. There were some things and secrets that ordinary people had no right to know. It must be those traitors who joined forces with the fiends to put pressure on us and force them to send people in. The other Empyrean snorted coldly, his expression ugly. It wasn't hard to guess such a method. What was difficult was how to deal with it. They had left some experts in the universe ruins. Now that the fiends were invading, they had to send a large number of experts to stop the fiends. Otherwise, the fiends would break through the defense line and kill their way into the primitive universe. The consequences would be very serious. They knew that this was a scheme of the traitors, but they had no way to stop it. This was an open conspiracy. They could only follow the other party and send experts to the dark universe to stop the fiends. Send reinforcements to the dark universe. A Lord of Heaven said. Soon, a portion of the top experts from the four heavenly palace left and went to the dark universe. Everyone, listen up. Then, a celestial venerate spoke. His voice spread throughout the place and rang in everyone's ears. Everyone looked at the celestial venerate at the same time. This time, the traders will definitely participate in the trip to the Taishang Immortal City. Send their young and middle-aged people in. Now, I'll give all of you a mission. The celestial venerate continued to speak. Everyone perked up and listened carefully. After entering the Taishang Immortal City, as long as you see the traitors, kill them. Anyone who kills the traitors and comes out with evidence will be heavily rewarded by the heavenly palace. The celestial venerate said. We will do our best to kill the traitors and not let them return. Everyone shouted. Okay, there's another thing. Look. As he spoke, the celestial venerate waved his hand and two pictures appeared in the air. These two pictures were Lu Ming's past body and present body. Lu Ming and Mu Yun, if you kill either of them, I promise to promote you to the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven. The celestial venerate said again. Whoosh. As soon as these words were said, it caused an uproar. Countless people's eyes were burning with greed. As long as they killed either Lu Ming or Mu Yun, they would be promoted to the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven. This was an endless temptation. What were the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven? They were the top representatives of the heavenly palace. Only the top, most elite prodigies of the heavenly human tribe could be titled as the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven. Now, there were less than 10 people in the four heavenly palace who could be titled as the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven. Once they were titled as the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven, their status would be unimaginably high. Even the leaders of the top 10 races would have to be respectful when they saw them. Everyone would be tempted. Lu Ming and Mu Yun, I must kill them. Your lives are mine. The eyes of the top 100 prodigies on the universe prodigy list glinted sharply. Although the prodigies on the universe prodigy list were famous in the primitive universe and had an extraordinary status, compared to the Son of Heaven or the Daughter of Heaven, they were too far apart. Especially Gabbert, the peerless prodigy of the angel race. Mu Yun, you're mine. I must kill you. Gabbert roared in his heart, and the killing intent in his eyes was incomparably strong. Because of Ling Yue, Gabbert and Mu Yun had formed a great enmity. Back then, Mu Yun had challenged Gabbert in public and made a 1,000-year promise. There was no need to wait 1,000 years. Gabbert decided that once he saw Mu Yun this time, he would immediately kill him. What 1,000-year promise? How could it compare to the status of the Son of Heaven? Not only the prodigies of the various races in the universe, but even the prodigies of the heavenly human tribe had blazing eyes as they stared at the two portraits of Lu Ming. There were many prodigies of the heavenly human tribe in the four heavenly palace, but there were less than 10 Son of Heaven and Daughter of Heaven. Unfortunately, it was very difficult to be titled as the Son of Heaven and Daughter of Heaven. It could be said that the Son of Heaven and Daughter of Heaven were the kings of the heavenly human tribe. Which heavenly human tribe didn't want to be titled? Everyone was silently chanting two names in their hearts, Lu Ming and Mu Yun. Yi Chu Tianji, Yi Ling Hongya. Follow me. At this time, the Lord of Heaven called out 9 names in a row. After saying that, the heavenly venerate walked to the side, and then 9 young men and women of the heavenly human tribe stepped out and followed the heavenly venerate. Chapter 4280. It's them. After seeing these 9 people, many people were shocked. Because these 9 people were the 9 sons of heaven and daughters of heaven of the 4 heavenly palace. They stood at the peak of the heavenly human tribe and were extremely powerful. In the crowd, some people's eyes emitted a strong fighting spirit. These were the geniuses on the primitive universe prodigy list, especially the top 10 geniuses. The top 10 geniuses on the universe prodigy list were also the top geniuses in the universe, standing at the peak of countless geniuses. However, no one thought that the top 10 geniuses on the universe prodigy list could compare with the sons of heaven and daughters of heaven. They all thought that there was a big gap. They were all proud and arrogant people, so they naturally wanted to compare in their hearts. However, the other party's status was too high, so no one dared to challenge them. The 9 sons of heaven and daughters of heaven followed the heavenly master to the side. This time, no matter what, we must kill Lu Ming and Mu Yun. Remember, especially Mu Yun. The heavenly master emphasized again with a heavier tone. However, he said this to the 9 people through voice transmission, so the others couldn't hear him. Don't worry, heavenly master. Whether it's Lu Ming or Mu Yun, I will kill them both. A forbidden body must not be left alive. A square-faced genius from the heavenly human tribe said coldly. This person was called Yi Chu Tianji, an extremely terrifying existence. You still don't know. Let me tell you, Mu Yun and Lu Ming are the same person. The heavenly master said. The heavenly palace didn't spread the news that Lu Ming and Mu Yun were the same person. Now, only a few higher-ups knew about it. After all, this matter was very disgraceful. It could be said that Lu Ming had been playing the heavenly palace from beginning to end, but nothing had happened until now. This was an extremely shameful thing. What? The 9 sons of heaven and daughters of heaven were shocked and tongue-tied. Lu Ming and Mu Yun were actually the same person. This was really beyond their expectations. How can it be? Could it be that he alone controls 2 forbidden powers? Yi Chu Tianji said, somewhat in disbelief. It was unheard of for a single person to control 2 types of taboo energy. No, according to our speculations, Mu Yun and Lu Ming are the same person. At the beginning, it was Lu Ming who obtained the taboo strength from the dragon race's mother planet. Later on, he should have cultivated some sort of special cultivation method and cultivated Mu Yun, transferring the taboo strength to Mu Yun. Now, Lu Ming shouldn't have any taboo strength. Therefore, your main target is still Mu Yun. If you can capture him, capture him. If you can't, then kill him. If you don't want the forbidden power, then so be it. The Celestial Venerable warned. After what happened last time, they had a deeper understanding of this principle. That is, as long as one possessed a taboo body, they were all people who possessed great luck. If it wasn't for the fact that one couldn't kill such a person in an instant, a series of unforeseen events would occur. Just like Lu Ming last time, even though he was locked up in the heavenly prison, he still managed to escape. In the past, Fei Huang and the others also had similar experiences. Therefore, this time, he made a promise to the son of heaven or daughter of heaven and ordered everyone to kill Mu Yun. Since he couldn't obtain it, he could only destroy it. Yes, Lord Heavenly Sovereign, don't worry. This time, whether it's Mu Yun or Lu Ming, only death awaits them. That's right, and those traitors, they won't be able to return. The 9 son of heaven and daughter of heaven nodded solemnly, their killing intent cold. At this moment, on the barren continent in the ruins of the universe, Lu Ming and the others were waiting. Suddenly, 7 figures appeared out of thin air in the sky. Lord Source Venerate. Someone exclaimed softly. Everyone's heart trembled as they looked at the 7 figures that had suddenly appeared with burning gazes. These 7 figures were all Source Venerate level powerhouses. Source Venerates were at the origin realm. They controlled a certain source of the universe and coexisted with the universe, standing at the peak of the universe. It was also a realm that all cultivators yearned for. Countless people hoped that one day, they would be able to reach the origin realm and coexist with the universe. Such people were rarely seen, but now, 7 of them had appeared. Lu Ming also looked at the 7 people. Among the 7, Lu Ming knew 2 of them. One of them was Fei Huang, and the other was the 3rd demon sword. Next, we will set off for the Taishang Immortal City. I've told you all about the Taishang Immortal City. Here, I'll remind you that once you enter the Taishang Immortal City, the people from the Heavenly Palace will definitely be hunted down by our people, so it's still very dangerous after entering the Taishang Immortal City. However, this time, all the races in the universe will enter, and there are many races. Most of you, As long as you don't actively expose your identity and blend in with the other races, the people from the heavenly palace won't be able to find you. However, there are a few exceptions among you, such as the descendants of the primordial divine spirit, and some of the more famous geniuses, such as Cutting Che. Mu Yun, Chiu Chiu Yu, Wan Shen, you will definitely be the focus of the people from the heavenly palace, and it will be difficult to hide. Therefore, you should be more careful. Among the 7 source venerables, the one who spoke was Fei Huang. The others seemed to be inferior to Fei Huang in terms of status. Yes. Lu Ming and the others nodded in agreement. Fei Huang had named Lu Ming, Chiu Chiu Yu, Wan Shen, and the others. The others were the top geniuses from the Heaven Destroyer, and they enjoyed a reputation even in the heavenly palace. Now, I'll give you some time to completely memorize the life origin aura of your own people. Otherwise, when you enter the Taishang Immortal City, you won't be able to recognize your own people. This way, you can help each other at critical moments. Take the initiative to release your life origin aura. Begin. Fei Huang continued. Immediately, the hundreds of thousands of people who were about to enter the Taishang Immortal City released their life origin aura. Then, the others spread out their spiritual senses and memorized the life origin aura of everyone present. This way, when they entered the Taishang Immortal City, it would be easy for them to distinguish between their own people and those who weren't. Lu Ming also spread out his spiritual senses and scanned the area. At their level, their memory was too strong. They only needed 10 minutes to memorize the hundreds of thousands of different life origin auras. After everyone had memorized them, Fei Huang waved her hand, and a black lotus appeared in the sky and rapidly expanded. At the same time, the other 6 origin realm powerhouses also made their moves. A white-haired old man's forehead shone, and a large tree flew out and rapidly expanded. It became incomparably huge, and a single leaf was larger than a mountain. Third demon sword waved his hand, and a demon's sword floated in the air and rapidly expanded. The sword's body was like a continent. The other origin realm powerhouses also took out their treasures, and they all became incomparably huge. Come up, we'll take you into the Immortal City. Fei Huang's voice rang out. Chapter 4281. Let's go. Everyone flew into the air, flying towards the treasures the reciprocity experts had taken out. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, and the others all flew towards the black lotus Fei Huang had summoned, landing on one of its petals. The lotus was just too large. A single petal was like a continent. Very soon, the treasures of the 7 origin realm experts were filled with people. Rise! Fei Huang called out gently. The black lotus trembled slightly, and in the next moment, it directly vanished from where it was. It passed through space and flew towards the desolate universe. Origin realm experts were just too fast, so fast that it was indescribable. Greater shift, teleportation, and so on were nothing before the speed of origin realm experts. They traveled through space, and before long, they passed through the boundary between the ruins of the universe and the desolate universe, arriving in the desolate universe. Swish! Rivers of stars flashed past, and they arrived in the withered glory star domain very soon. Only now did they slow down. Look, is that the Taishang Immortal City? Someone suddenly cried out. Actually, there was no need for a reminder. Everyone had seen it. A huge city hovered at an unknown distance in front of them. The city gave off a hazy glow, giving off a sense of holiness. They could see it from afar. The city was just too large, and some of the stars seemed extremely insignificant beside it. Traitors, how dare you try to encroach on the Taishang Immortal City? You deserve to die. At this moment, a shout rang out from outer space, causing the entire region to violently tremble. A few stars in the surroundings were directly extinguished. Swish! Space ripped open, and a golden spear stabbed out, stabbing towards Lu Ming and the others. The spear was boundlessly large. Just the tip of the spear was as large as a star, and its length was immeasurable. Wherever the spear passed, everything was reduced to nothingness, reduced to chaos. Terrifying, utterly terrifying. This long spear gave people an incomparably terrifying feeling. It's an origin realm expert. Lu Ming's eyes rapidly narrowed. Speaking of which, Lu Ming had already witnessed 2 clashes between origin realm experts. The first time was when Fei Huang activated her sovereign's heart and fought against an elderly celestial from the illusory heavenly palace. The second time was in the prison of the heavenly palace, where the third demon's sword fought with a celestial lord from the heavenly palace. As a result, as soon as he sensed the terrifying presence, he knew it was a reciprocity expert. This was because only existences at reciprocity could give off such a terrifying presence. Fei Huang didn't move, nor did she attack. On the other side, the third demon's sword shouted. His body emitted a domineering aura. A beam of sword light soared into the sky, breaking into the vast starry sky of the universe, and slashed out. The sword light was vast, and it was not any smaller than the golden spear. The 2 attacks collided with a dang sound. Then, the golden spear quickly retracted. There was no earth-shattering shockwave. It was clear that both sides had condensed their strength to the extreme. There was a feeling of returning to the real world. When they collided, there was not the slightest bit of energy that spread out. At the same time, they held back a little when they fought. This was because existences at reciprocity were just too terrifying. If they used their full strength, they could destroy galaxies one after another. That would be an earth-shattering battle, and it would also be a great disaster. It would lead to endless slaughter. As a result, unless it was a battle of life and death, existences at reciprocity would usually hold back a little when they fought. This was unless it was under special circumstances. For example, last time in the prison of the heavenly palace, in the ruins of the universe, or in some desolate star regions. Rip. Space cracked open, and a figure appeared in the starry sky. This was a member of the heavenly human race, a very young member of the heavenly human race. He looked to be around 30 years old. He had a heroic appearance and a tall and sturdy figure. He wore a golden armor and held a golden spear in his hand. Of course, age could not be judged by appearance. This person was at reciprocity, so he was obviously not young. However, this person's age was definitely not too old. He was definitely much younger than the 2 celestial venerables from the heavenly palace that Lu Ming had seen last time. He pointed his spear at the third demon's sword and said coldly, "Third demon's sword, I've defeated you before. You actually managed to escape this time. That's fine too. If I could take you down once, I can do it again. Yilu Xingxiang, if it weren't for the sneak attacks from your celestial clan, would you have been able to take me down? Today, I'll see what you think you are." The third demon's sword said coldly. With a wave of his hand, his black sword flew towards Fei Huang. The people on it all entered Fei Huang's black lotus. As for the third demon's sword, he took a step forward. With every step he took, a demon's sword appeared beneath his feet. Every step he took covered a distance of hundreds of millions of miles. Sword whistle, kill. The third devil's sword let out a long howl and opened its mouth to spit out a black river from its mouth. This river was formed by countless demon swords, and it rushed towards Yilu Xingxiang. It was obvious that the third demon's sword was stronger than when he first escaped. Obviously, he had recovered to his peak condition in the past few years. I could take you down in the past, and I can still do it now. Yilu Xingxiang snorted. His golden spear vibrated and turned into a dazzling spearlight that pierced towards the third demon's sword. Clang! Clang! The 2 exchanged a few moves, but there was no clear winner. The 2 of them retreated and started fighting again. Their speed was too fast. In just a breath's time, they had exchanged more than 100 moves, but there was still no clear winner. Yilu Xingxiang, this is your strength? I haven't seen you for dozens of stellar years, but you haven't improved at all. I was trapped by you for dozens of stellar years, ha ha ha. In the battle, the third demon's sword laughed loudly, his laughter full of mockery. You're courting death. Yilu Xingxiang roared and his attacks became more violent. He wanted to take down the third demon's sword as soon as possible. The third demon's sword's words stung him. Indeed, the third demon's sword had been suppressed by the heavenly palace for many years. During this period, he couldn't cultivate. He had cultivated for dozens of stellar years more than the third demon's sword, but now he couldn't take down the third demon's sword. Didn't this prove that he was inferior to the third demon's sword? He couldn't accept it. The two fought crazily, tearing apart the void and fighting in the dark space. Let's go there first, Fei Huang said. Then, with the other experts, they continued to rush towards the Taishang Immortal City. Should we stop them? In the Taishang Immortal City, several heavenly venerables of the heavenly palace were discussing. It's useless. This time, there are several troublesome traitors. Our experts are pinned down by the universe ruins and dark space. Even if we take action, we can't stop them. Another heavenly venerate said. Are we just going to let them send people into the Taishang Immortal City? A hot-tempered heavenly venerate snorted, very unhappy. Chapter 4282. So what if we let them enter the Taishang Immortal City? We just have to follow the plan. Even if they enter the Taishang Immortal City, they will only be hunted down by our people. After this battle, it's not a bad thing to let the rebels lose their middle strength. A heavenly venerate who looked more experienced and astute said. That's right. After getting rid of the rebels, these people who entered the Taishang Immortal City this time will have no successors. Let's see how they will fight against us in the future. Another heavenly venerate said coldly. Therefore, they didn't stop Fei Huang and the others. Fei Huang and the others smoothly entered the area covered by the light of the Taishang Immortal City. As soon as they entered the area, their power seemed to be sealed and they couldn't use it. Even Lu Ming's forbidden power was sealed. This made Lu Ming secretly shocked. The Taishang Immortal City was indeed a remnant of the last era. It was really mysterious and unpredictable. Just a ray of light was enough to seal his forbidden power. It was obvious how extraordinary it was. This power is indeed different from the power cultivated in the Eldritch universe now. Lu Ming secretly felt the light emitted by the Taishang Immortal City and sighed in his heart. Then, he looked at the incomparably huge door in front of him. Yes, it's this city. Little Qing entered through this gate. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with excitement. That's right. The last time he saw Xian Yanqing being sucked away, it was this city and this door. At this moment, the stairs below the door were already densely packed with people rushing up the stairs to the door. The Taishang Immortal City was open. Countless geniuses and people in their prime under the control of the heavenly palace rushed up the stairs to the door. Some people had already rushed into the door and disappeared. Lu Ming and the others' arrival attracted a lot of attention. Cold gazes swept over Lu Ming and the others, full of murderous intent. The rebels are indeed here. Good, we'll kill to our heart's content. The people of the heavenly human tribe and many other races looked at Lu Ming and the others with cold murderous intent in their eyes. In their eyes, the lives of Lu Ming and the others were the shortcut for them to rise to the top. That's Mu Yun. Suddenly, there was a cry of surprise. Mu Yun? Where is he? Over there, I see him. All eyes fell on Lu Ming and Lu Ming at the same time. At least a few tens of millions of eyes were burning, desire, greed, and strong murderous intent, as if they wanted to burn Lu Ming to ashes. Sure enough, it's Mu Yun. He's just a divine emperor. He's mine. Will to be. 2. Control, control, control. Countless eyes looked at Lu Ming as if they were looking at a peerless treasure. If it weren't for the suppression of the Taishang Immortal City, some people would have rushed forward. Son of heaven or daughter of heaven. What kind of temptation was that? It was worth risking their lives for this goal. Looks like I'm very popular. Lu Ming smiled and looked very calm. It wasn't the first time he was targeted, so it didn't matter. He didn't mind sending those who wanted to die. Mu Yun. At this time, a loud shout was heard and a figure walked out of the crowd. The person was wearing a white robe and was very handsome. There were 12 white wings on his back. It's Gabbert. I heard that Gabbert and Mu Yun have a 1,000-year agreement. Suddenly, people started to talk about it. Lu Ming heard what they said. Gabbert? Lu Ming whispered as a wisp of killing intent burst out of his eyes. Mu Yun, you came at the right time. Didn't you want to challenge me back then? I'll wait for your challenge in the Taishang Immortal City. Gabbert said. The reason why he jumped out in a hurry and mentioned the battle back then was that he was afraid that Lu Ming would be snatched away by others. Of course, even if he mentioned it, others would attack without hesitation after seeing Lu Ming. I will kill you in the Taishang Immortal City. Lu Ming's answer was very simple. He, is that so? I hope you can live to see me. Gabbert smiled coldly and then didn't say anything else. He turned around and walked towards the stairs under the gate. The stairs were very large and the gate was also very large. On the stairs, a dense crowd was constantly rushing into the gate. Not long after, hundreds of millions of people rushed into the gate and disappeared. You guys should also set off. Fei Huang said to Lu Ming and the others. Let's go. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen and the others jumped down from the Black Lotus and rushed towards the stairs. There were a few heavenly venerables from the heavenly palace here, but they didn't stop them. Here, their cultivation was suppressed and they couldn't do anything. They could only watch as Lu Ming and the others walked towards the gate. Hundreds of thousands of people followed the stairs and rushed towards the gate. There were Divine Lord Realm, Divine Emperor Realm, Divine Lord Realm and Divine Lord Realm. No matter what realm one was in, after stepping through the gate, they would automatically be divided into different levels according to their realm. Those in the Divine Emperor realm and below would automatically enter the first level. Those in the Divine Emperor realm would enter the second level. Those in the Divine Lord realm would enter the third level. Soon, Lu Ming, Autumn Moon and the others stepped onto the stairs and arrived at the gate. Young master, you must be careful. Autumn Moon warned, her eyes filled with worry. Autumn Moon, Wan Shen and the others were all in the Divine Emperor realm. After entering the Taishang Immortal City, they would enter the second level. Lu Ming was only in the Divine Emperor realm. After entering, he would appear at the first level. Don't worry, they can't do anything to me. You guys have to be careful. I'll find you at the second level soon. Lu Ming said. Young master, we'll meet at the second level. Autumn Moon nodded. Lu Ming, quickly come to the second level. Let's kill until those in the heavenly palace tremble in fear. Haha. Wan Shen laughed and patted Lu Ming's shoulder. Let's go. Lu Ming said. Then, he walked side by side with Autumn Moon and the others and stepped through the gate. With a flash of light, Lu Ming and the others disappeared through the gate. Lu Ming felt like he had passed through a wormhole. In the next moment, he found himself in a forest. He looked around and saw that there were huge trees around him. Some of them were as thick as mountains and had strong vitality. Swoosh! Lu Ming soared into the sky and stood in the air. However, his expression changed immediately. This place gave him a feeling of being as heavy as a mountain. It was completely different from the chaotic universe. With Lu Ming's cultivation, every move he made in the chaotic universe could shatter the void. He could leap across countless stars with a single step. However, he felt an ancient aura here. It was extremely heavy and pressed down on him. It was the same feeling he had when he first entered the chaotic universe. Chapter 4283. Yes, it was the same feeling he had when he had just entered the primitive universe. According to Senior Fei Huang, the environment in the Grand Supreme Immortal City is very likely similar to the Great Desolate Continent of the previous era. It is of a higher level than the current Great Desolate Universe. Many thoughts flashed across Lu Ming's mind. In this place, his speed, destructive power, and so on were many times weaker. Let's try the weapons. Lu Ming tried to control the mysterious ice rod and the zephyr pearl, but he gave up after a while. Because he couldn't control them. Senior Fei Huang said that the Taishang Celestial City inherited the rules and ultimacies of the universe from the last era. It is completely different from the current primitive universe. In the Taishang Celestial City, all the weapons and seals brought in will lose their effects. Lu Ming nodded and muttered to himself. The rules of the Taishang Immortal City were different from the primitive universe. It was completely isolated from the primitive universe. Therefore, the weapons and talismans outside were useless. It was different from the ruins of the universe. Even though the ruins of the universe were from the last era, they were connected to the primitive universe. After crossing the border of the primitive universe, one would enter the ruins of the universe. After so many years, the rules of the universe were gradually connected. Therefore, the weapons and talismans could be used in the ruins of the universe. In the Taishang Immortal City, those things couldn't be used. One could only rely on one's own strength. The environment of each floor of the Taishang Immortal City is different. The opportunities on each floor are also different. There are many treasures on the first floor that can quickly increase the strength of a divine emperor. However, I don't need them now. I need to find my own path and break through to the divine emperor realm. My main goal now is to find the Bodhi tree stump. Lu Ming knew what he needed to do next. The other divine emperors and divine emperors who entered the first floor were frantically looking for treasures to increase their cultivation. However, he didn't need them. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th divine emperor layer. Refining treasures was useless. He needed to find his own path and break through to the divine emperor realm. There was one place on the first floor that could help him, the Bodhi tree stump. Sitting on the Bodhi tree stump could greatly help one comprehend all kinds of secret techniques. I don't know where I am right now. Let's look around first. Lu Ming randomly chose a direction and flew forward. At the same time, a map appeared in his mind. 60 stellar years ago, Fei Huang and the others had entered the highest supreme immortal city. At the beginning, they were also on the first level. Fei Huang had explored many places in the first level. She had drawn a map of the places she had explored, recorded it in the jade talisman, and gave it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming was now looking for the Bodhi tree stump according to the map given by Fei Huang. What rich life essence! Lu Ming, who was flying, suddenly had a change of expression and descended. On a cliff, there was a stalk of grass that emitted an extremely rich life essence. A heavenly treasure. I'll keep it for now. I won't be able to use it, but I can give it to others in the future. Lu Ming pondered and flew over. He plucked the stalk of grass and put it away. Lu Ming continued to fly. Along the way, Lu Ming saw more than 10 stalks of various herbs. Each stalk emitted an extremely rich life essence. Lu Ming unceremoniously put them all away. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. So it's in this area. There's still a long way to go to the Bodhi tree stump. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. After many comparisons, he finally figured out where he was. The highest supreme immortal city was incomparably huge. The 3 levels inside were even more vast and boundless. He was still very far away from the Bodhi tree stump. In addition, this place severely affected his flying speed. Lu Ming estimated that he would need at least half a month to fly to the area where the Bodhi tree stump was. However, the highest supreme immortal city would be open for 1,000 years. Half a month was not considered long. However, Lu Ming did not want to waste time. The cultivation environment in the highest supreme immortal city was too good. Everyone was crazily improving. If he wasted too much time, it would be difficult for him to catch up with the others. He had to break through to the celestial arch realm in the shortest time possible and then enter the second level. If he wasted too much time, those who had entered the second level would improve every day. It would be even more difficult for him to enter the second level in the future. Moreover, most of his time would be spent on the origin source seed. Therefore, even if Lu Ming found any treasures later on, he would be too lazy to pick them to avoid wasting time. He flew with all his might in the direction of the Bodhi tree stump. People from the heavenly palace. Suddenly, Lu Ming noticed two figures to the side. It was obvious that they were from the heavenly palace. He remembered all the people from the Heaven Destroyer. Two people from the heavenly palace. One was young, and the other looked to be in his 30s. Both of them were staring at Lu Ming with murderous intent. When they saw that Lu Ming was looking at them, their expressions changed and they quickly retreated. They didn't dare attack. On the first level, people who were at or below the Godly Emperor layer were also at the Godly Emperor layer. Of course, they didn't dare attack Lu Ming. You're lucky. Lu Ming smiled indifferently. He didn't chase them and continued flying. But on the way, from time to time, he would see people from the heavenly palace. There were also people from the heavenly human clan. Those people stayed far away from Lu Ming. When Lu Ming saw them, they would quickly leave. Nobody attacked him. Are you watching me? Lu Ming smiled. He didn't care. On the first level, the strongest cultivator was only at the 9th Godly Emperor layer. His cultivation level had already reached the peak of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. He was at the top of the first level. Who would he be afraid of? He wasn't afraid of anyone. So what if they were watching him? He didn't care. He just wanted to get to the Bodhi tree stump as quickly as possible. Very quickly, 3 days passed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, a large number of people appeared in front of Lu Ming. There were at least 100 of them, blocking Lu Ming's way. You're finally here? All right, I'll send you to hell, whispered Lu Ming. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Needless to say, those people were from the heavenly palace. Among them, there were 30 people from the heavenly human clan. The rest were from other clans. Some of them were young, while others were in their prime. The only thing they had in common was their chi. They were all cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. Indeed, those people were all cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. Apparently, they knew that Lu Ming's combat power was very strong. Therefore, they had sent geniuses who were at the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm and had powerful combat power. Mu Yun, your life is mine. In the crowd, a golden-haired young man sneered. His gaze was gloomy and fiery as he stared at Lu Ming. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.